Slowly. All right, call the meeting to order.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right,
I emailed you the link, Dave, to the.
Thank you.
we have a chance to look over the agenda, any conflicts of interest, otherwise we'll agenda approved. Right, that's all right. Madam Auditor, would you read the minutes of the previous meeting, please?
July 16, 2024, the Board of Supervisors met at 9 a.m. with Jean Hayden, Chair, presiding members present, with Schultz, Dozark, Hayden, Mulbauer, member attending via Zoom, Rossberg. Minutes of the previous meeting were read and approved. The board approved court fees for June 2024. The board recognized change of wages for Conservation Department. A motion was made by Mulbauer, seconded by Dozark, to approve the following resolution 2024-25. To place clerk / trustee question on the general election ballot. Let's see, voting aye, Schultz, Dozark, Hayden, Mulbauer, and Rossberg. Motion passed unanimously. Motion was made by Schultz, seconded by Mulbauer, to approve the Iowa DHS individual tax suspensions. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Dozark, seconded by Schultz, to approve the appointment of Luane Gronow to Veterans Affairs Commission for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2027. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Schultz, seconded by Dozark, to approve the supplemental agreement for final design services with Calhoun Burns and Associates, Inc. for completion of for completion of design services related to bridge replacement VRS County 24-132-60-24 County Road M55 Bridge over the East Beaver River in the amount of $48,750. Motion passed unanimously. A motion was made by Mulbauer, seconded by Dozark, to approve the additional purchase of 20,000 tons of maintenance gravel from Stratford Gravel Carlson Pit at the price of $8.03 a ton for the 2025 delivery and payment. Motion passed unanimously. The board discussed resolution 2024-19 related to the reclassification of a portion of K Avenue from the area service road C Road to area B Road. K.R. Buck, Renee Clausen addressed their concerns with the board. No action was taken at this time. The board discussed establishing a compensation board. No action was taken at this time. On motion, duly seconded, the board adjourned at 10:42 a.m. Agendas for the next meeting are posted and available at the courthouse on Friday, 4:30 p.m. preceding the next meeting.
All right, any corrections or adjustments to that? All righty. Thank you, Judy. All right, so now we have reports from the supervisors and our standing committees. What'd you have to say?
I had the fair.
The fair, and that was a great fair. I think the weather.
Right, other than that, I really didn't have any,
Yeah.
other meetings. I will say that, Terry sent out an email to you and me concerning Paul.
Yep.
And what we need to do moving forward.
Yep.
So I think we need to,
As far
we need to do that as far as where to publish an ad, where to put an ad, that sort of stuff. And if we haven't come to the agreement of posting a salary range, if in the ad that Paul put together, he did not have a salary range in there. Jack recommends that we do have a salary range in there. I went online to the Iowa County Engineers Association and there are 6 current openings.
Yep.
Listed on there. 5 of them list a range.
What county so?
Clark County, 120 to 135 is what they list. Clay County, which is basically the size of our county. They're listing 125 to 145. Adams County has a population of 3,700 people. They're listing a range of 120 to 140. Woodbury, 139 to 167, plus a sign-on bonus. Taylor County, 85 to 130. Pocahontas County just says negotiable.
5 counties are advertising, and I think the average is 115 to 135, based on experience, if you want to be competitive, is what Jack says.
I have mixed feelings about putting a price
Yep.
on there, like we've
I like
talked
that
about.
negotiable.
I get why, I mean, you wanna have something that they can look at and target, but yet it's also like you don't wanna play your hand before.
I know,
you hire
I,
anybody.
he's also saying that 2 of his counties hired a new engineer in the last 15 months for 135 to 140 respectively. That's the only suggestions that he has, in updating what we have to go out there. And I see it both ways, experience, I don't know.
It's just my opinion on I mean, I know not everybody has the same opinion, but we're handing off a pretty damn good county road, secondary road system.
We are.
We got a great crew,
Good equipment.
real good equipment.
Bridges in great shape.
Bridges, I mean, Paul's got us as caught up as you possibly can. And, I mean, while the roads are a challenge, welcome to gravel roads in Iowa. I mean, everywhere you go, they're a challenge, and my past experience, and I haven't been out in the hog trucks lately, but my past experiences, ours were always better than a lot of the other places, most of the other places I was loading. So, I mean, to me, we've got a nice setup. But could it be better if you had a huge maintenance facility like,
And that could be something coming down the road,
well, that's always something we've talked about doing, Dave.
We have.
I mean, at least since I've been here. I'm sure you guys talked about it before I got here.
That makes sense.
Greg, do you have any, I mean, do you?
Guys.
I mean, I just know that,
You'd like to
and I
propose,
guess
or-
my opinion is that if you list a range, you're gonna pay the high end of the range. Because the person you're interviewing is gonna be like, if you make the offer on the low end, well, why don't I deserve the high end?
I agree.
I like that negotiable. And maybe throw your low number out, say negotiable upon that.
We're not gonna
I
get
mean, it
it.
doesn't matter to me, I'm just
Yeah.
telling you what Jack recommends listing it, listing a range. You can see that 5 out of the 6 do list a range. And so if you're, I guess, someone that's looking to move, I don't know if they take into consideration what shape the county's in or how they find that out through an interview process. I guess that's how you can do that. Or if they just look at the salary ranges and go, that's where I'm applying is where it's the highest.
Well,
I don't know.
here's how I would look at it. Would you rather coach the Chiefs or would you rather coach the Raiders?
How much are the Raiders paying?
Well, good point.
Exactly. Wouldn't you like to be the coach that brings them back rather than the one that depletes them? I mean, I'm just saying.
Yep. What are the pennies
What's
to?
I don't
the
know.
chance you're gonna bring back the Raiders?
What's the weather?
If we did list a price.
I don't know.
Wouldn't get crazy with it, just say 120 to 140.
I mean, that's where I think we're gonna end up
Right.
paying, certainly is in that range.
Why don't we go ahead and do that? And, add with experience and go from there. That's the only suggestion he has. He says 115 to 140, or 115 to 135 is what his just suggestion is. So you're real close to what
I think you could list a range and then put after that negotiable depending on experience.
I agree.
Right.
Yeah.
Do
Add
that.
that, let's get it, because, Jack kind of knows where,
Cause there's some free places, I mean, that Iowa County Engineers Association, ISAC, and the Land Surveyors Association all have websites that you can list openings for free to get started. I think that's what Jack said. Let's get started there.
And you hope to find a very qualified person to fill this. I mean, this is a big change for our county.
This is huge.
It doesn't happen very often. I mean, Paul took over in 2002 or 3.
Like about every 20, 25 years. And I think I think Kyle's been kind of reaching out to people that he knows.
good.
Athens or something.
Well, I see it both ways. Put a range on it and say negotiable on it. Or do you guys
So
feel?
do we wanna do the 120 to 140 range? 115 to 140?
Yeah, we,
Yeah, I like a 115 to 140. I'd like that lower number to be lower. You know, I mean, what were we paying Paul until this last year? We were, you know. I
and
mean,
maybe you do, you get a young guy a young person that doesn't have the experience, say, hey, we'll give you the opportunity,
well,
but.
here's the thing. A young guy could come in here because you got a leadership staff that's pretty competent.
Right, and then hopefully they're here for a long time.
And I think Jack said in there that have them licensed, if they're not licensed within
Yep.
2 years, they need to be licensed.
We did have
Right.
that in.
Instead of just 1 year, because I think that, currently we would have Ben on staff who either is or will be shortly licensed.
And remember this, because this has saved us a bunch of money, at least with the towers, so I gotta assume in other things too. But Paul's also like the land surveyor, he's.
We have that in the job description that we would be
Yeah, so we would the surveying.
prefer, but not
A certified surveyor.
right. We said we would prefer that, but it's not a,
Not a must, but
Right.
if you want more money, that's sure gonna get it to you. You know,
get that certification also. I know Paul saved the county a lot of money by having
A lot.
his
And he's brought the county a lot of money just through
grants and
grants, yeah.
yeah, that
Being
grant,
aggressive
I
and-
think that's, you know, I think that's where Jake going to that one that I told him about.
Let's go on next week.
Yeah.
Tell
I
them.
mean, just things like that, we need to push them department heads to do, you know, be after that stuff, you know, when I say department heads, the ones that have stuff available. I mean, you go after grants for your election stuff, right?
The Secretary of State's informs us when different things are available and, yeah.
And that's, so I just, you know, I'm really the places we gotta, to keep taxes low, those are the places we gotta be.
They're out there.
so then we'll get the job description, I mean, has been okayed by Jack that Paul put together. So we'll just go ahead and, Terry, do you want us then just to forward you a final copy and then have you say, here's the places we want you to list that, or how to?
Yeah,
how do
that's
you wanna do
fine.
moving
No,
forward?
that's fine. Yeah, no, that is fine, because we can get it on our website, of course.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
and just simple places like that. And even if you decide to go the route of, say, like a service like Indeed, I think we can start off free.
You
I
can-
think we ended up we paid some to get IT a little more aggressive, but yeah, we can do that later. That can happen later after some of these other more direct routes with
Okay.
county affiliates and stuff like that.
And I
So,
think like with Indeed and Intuit or whatever. Indeed,
Right.
You get a lot of
Junk,
yeah. you
Junk.
do.
yeah,
responses just to basically make it look like you're getting some.
right,
Well-
What do
exactly.
they call it? Bots or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
I kind of wonder if some of that stuff ain't, because I know when we were doing CDC, well, we
Probably
got some that
spam and
people
stuff.
were astronauts looking to come
Yeah.
work in the county. Yeah.
We had the ISAC director,
Yeah.
you know, just, how many of them got thrown out right off the bat?
Just, that's not even real,
It's a waste.
not realistic at the very least.
I mean, I'm not sure, I mean, I don't always understand how Indeed works, but I know like when we advertise for our office professional at Thrivent, we just did the free part, and you're right, we got a lot of people that didn't really qualify, but I think just send out, I don't know how it works, but being on Wesco's board, they pay Indeed, I mean, I think they paid Indeed about $11,000 last month, and they said that the more that you pay them, then you get it, I guess, buttoned down as to the people that are applying are legitimately,
They
they have the
Oh.
experience and they have the background of what exactly you are trying to get a job for. So I don't know how that coordinates
I don't know
to
either.
get that. If
Right.
it's people that apply or that register as an Indeed user, and then they put in all that information, and then Indeed, you know, when you pay the money, then Indeed sends that that I
We can
specifically, I
do
want someone
workforce
that's got.
development,
Yeah,
Iowa Works, you know, that's
absolutely.
local, that's free.
Exactly, that's free,
You
we,
know, we can do that too. I'm sure we'd get some decent apps that way.
Yeah,
I mean, when we did our office professional, like I said, we did local papers, we did Iowa Works, Job Works, and Indeed, and we didn't get anyone that said that they read it in the paper.
yeah,
Oh, yeah,
The
Everyone
social
was either
media-
Iowa Works or Indeed.
right.
Social media.
Social
is a good
media
place.
too,
But
yeah.
isn't there a engineers association that, you know,
House it, you know.
Yeah,
There's the Iowa County Engineers Association.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's like our supervisors
Yeah.
association.
That's where I found all those other
Yeah,
listings.
so we can list it there. don't
We can
think?
list it there.
Yeah, list
Yeah.
it there. So it seems like a good place to start, and then I think, you know, Paul and Kyle seem to know some people that know some people. Oh, word of mouth is good. And so, some young person that's looking to come back.
I would think, I mean, the engineers, I think to Ty's point, is that they all know Paul. Paul's pretty well known, I think, throughout the state of county engineers. And I know he's leaving. I think they would all know that Crawford County's good shape.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got I mean, as good, for the dollars that he's had compared to some of these bigger counties, you know. I think he's probably got us in as good a shape as any county out there. That'd be my.
So I'll go ahead and I'll forward you a final copy.
yeah. Are you
And-
wanting cover letter and resume? Are you wanting, what are you wanting?
I like
What do
it.
we want that cover letter? and-
Oh, you want all that, cause if they aren't detailed.
Right,
I mean, you can get an application later.
Right,
You know what I mean? When you interview or whatever, you can
cover
ask.
letter and resume,
Okay.
references if possible.
and I,
Oh, yeah, thank you.
and I see that on all of these 6 listings, they all send them to the county auditor. That
Yeah,
is your
and that's fine.
responsibility. As
It
far
can
as, I
be,
mean, okay.
doesn't have to be,
It
but
just seems,
it's a good,
all of these, they said
we
send
can
cover
help
letter,
to keep it
resume.
organized and keep it together and not,
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Keep it standard, because if they
Reference.
send it individually, it could get misplaced and lost and
Right.
never got it, and that way it's all in one spot.
Yeah, we'll keep them together and then you all can decide when you wanna go through them and stuff.
Sounds like we're moving forward.
Let's get her done.
Okay,
Yeah, and I don't know if you're picking a committee to do this. I don't know that you want a quorum.
Well, we've kind of
Doing it?
decided that.
we decided me and Gene are gonna serve,
Okay.
I just didn't know if we are the only committee. Is there anybody else that's,
It's up to you.
Can we have
It's up to
Paul
this
sit in?
board what you need
what's
to.
that?
Can we all sit in on the interviews when they do come in?
Certainly, we,
Well, I think that would be good because he has the experience to know.
Make
Yeah.
sure you have your questions all lined out and you
All
stay the
exactly-
same.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
exactly the same.
HR stuff that I've
Yeah,
been.
and I don't know if Jack
Thanks
can
to
assist you a
Stephanie,
little
I'm
with the
smarter than I
questions.
used to be.
You may have.
Jack and Paul have some ideas of
Right.
what needs to be asked and, but yes, you're correct. Every single applicant needs to be asked the exact same questions in the exact same order. And I know.
I mean, the thing is, it's like, you know, not just per se, Ben would apply. You know, there's things you'd really like to test him on that you wouldn't like, that you probably wouldn't test others on because he knows the system, but I don't know. You gotta worry about the HR effects. So maybe even, you're gonna have Jack involved. I mean, I'd go over my questions with him.
Yep.
See what kind of longitude you have to keep us out of trouble.
Yep.
Cause Stephanie kept kicking me.
Certain things you
Is
can't.
Is there some things
She
you
did.
can't ask?
You cannot ask, and it's been that way for a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
You just can't
exactly.
ask. And it's getting a longer list of
Sounds
things you
good.
can't ask, so, yeah. We'll get it out
Okay.
there, see what we get, and we'll, organize,
that's all I got.
once we get some interest.
just wanted to get that taken care of so we move
Get
forward.
her
Well,
done.
Paul had called me yesterday,
We did?
Paul did. wondering
did.
where the process was. He
Okay.
wasn't, you know, he had kind of got the ball rolling
Right.
and
He sure
needed to
did.
step back and, yeah, so.
Okay.
Then we
I was like,
kinda-
nope, I'll let him, I'll ask the questions and, yeah,
Yep, Jack's
that's fine.
been communicating, so.
I mean, I
think
really
that
didn't have
we're-
any
We're off the mark, it's gonna be
curiosity about it.
listed
Just brought it up.
probably this week.
Hopefully, that'd be nice.
Tomorrow I'll get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
We'll
very
get
good.
it listed.
Or later
Give me the
today.
list of places you want me to,
Okay,
would you please? Thank you.
Very good. You done?
yep,
Dave, what'd you have this?
Fair.
Fair,
week.
I know.
Good fair. I did have last night, actually, I ran into Jeff and Jackie Gallagher.
Okay,
And they have that lot in Vale, that big triangle lot that we looked at, that we have the three sections or lots just south of
Oh, yeah?
the
Okay.
bridge. And they had brought it up, and Jeff might, try to get on the agenda here in the next couple of weeks and talk to us about that.
They wanna sell,
They would like to buy our three
buy our
lots.
3 lots.
Or somehow work out a deal, or if we put it up for, I said, it's gotta be fair to everybody, it's not like we can
right.
give you any special deal or anything, but. I mean, their point was, hey, we've been mowing the whole backyard, we've been taking care of it, it's all part of what we own there in that big triangle lot, you know, if it come up for sale or somehow if they could purchase it, they said it just ties into our whole acreage or place there, and they were interested in.
Which one's that?
Those are the ones you just cleaned up?
We haven't cleaned it up yet.
Oh,
It's over
or about to be,
About
okay.
to be
In Vale.
in Vale,
Yeah.
right south of
Like
the
the
bridge.
the size of
By
this
the Catholic
table.
church.
Yeah.
They own the house with that big lot behind it, and they're like, well, it's all part of our lot, we're already mowing, we're already doing, we just soon.
So if we sold it, would we have to clean it up?
I think they prefer it cleaned up before.
Sure.
And probably just for watershed reasons and bank erosion and what we wanted to do with some of that concrete anyways, it would help out, but depending on, I know Paul talked about maybe trying to get some Hungry Canyon money for fixing up that,
Cleaning it up.
cleaning it up, but they just said they'd like to be in the conversation if that was
Sure,
at all.
sure.
possible.
Absolutely.
I don't see any point of the county, I mean,
No,
you have a private citizen wants to buy county land that we don't.
we didn't even know we had.
Somebody
We
wants
don't
to
do
pay
that.
taxes, I'm all in favor of that.
Right, and that's what I
They
told
didn't
them.
mention sending us a mowing bill or anything, did they?
You know, though, I mean, they can maintain, like you said, if they're maintaining it anyway, you know,
Yeah.
clean things, keep,
Right.
you
It'd
know.
be good for the city of
Yeah.
Vale to have that taken care of and just in the right
You
place.
could hold
What's
an
the
auction
usual-
like you do the county farm, maybe.
That's what I told them, I said,
Yeah,
do something.
something simple, public notice,
Right,
yeah,
and
Yeah, we have to.
it's not
right,
something that I don't see a lot of people being interested because it's,
no,
part of it's crick.
Yeah. it's
What are you
not-
gonna do with it? It ties in for them, but you still have to have it fair.
Absolutely. So
Well, if you didn't, somebody'd say something,
Right.
yeah.
we should
You'd hope so.
probably see what the plan is for getting it cleaned up so that we kind of know where we're at with that.
right,
And then,
We can ask Paul when he comes
yeah,
up.
can we
get
get
it
it
on.
redone?
Remember, make it so just keep the ball rolling on it.
And maybe they would be, I mean, if we bring Jeff in on a meeting and just talk to him or what their intentions are, maybe they don't want it cleaned up. Or maybe they say, well, leave it as is, we'll clean it up, but
That big hunk of concrete, that's,
but if we can get Hungry Canyon money and it
Yeah.
would help Vail out with bank erosion and flooding, and
so we
it'd be
can.
better
talk
to do
Paul.
it ahead of time.
Right.
Let's remember to talk to Paul about that, see how we're coming with Hungry Canyon money and see what the chances are and how they're getting it cleaned up and just keep the ball rolling on it and keep the interest out there. So that's, I think, good news, good for everybody. Very good.
Otherwise, well, the fair was a beautiful week for weather wise.
It was, I actually made it every single day, including the rodeo.
How was the road?
Rodeo was, it was kind of short, but it was good. Yeah, it was just a beautiful night and,
A few
yeah.
local people,
There was some local people
Had
and,
a-
Royals were,
Yeah.
Parker
and Zach did a roping thing.
yeah, it was just a beautiful, and I thought we had a nice crowd and, I know people were disappointed that we didn't have a, midway with rides and whatnot, but,
The bouncy houses was a good fit, I think.
it didn't draw any of my folks out there, I don't know,
At least it was something.
yes, there was something.
Mhm.
And I think for the littler ones, I think it was great, but you're not gonna get 16-year-olds
Right.
staring out,
No.
even a 13-year-old, and you can get a 9-year-old to go around once, but they're.
They're over it fast.
I about had my own rodeo Thursday night. I was an honorary guest for the 4-H horse club. And I got to compete against the 4-H kids at some of the events.
That's funny.
I
Did they
wish I'd
smash
have
it?
known how to
They
pay,
whooped my butt.
how to pay admission to see that.
And my horse I brought up is usually one of our faster, better horses, but he was not having it. And
Well,
I don't know if it was the traffic or the people, but
Probably the company.
He about threw me a couple times.
Oh, man, I would have loved to have
There you
seen that.
go.
Oh, really? You got a little snorty.
He did.
Funny, I love it.
Somebody's gotta have that on video.
Trying to juice it up to get a
Well, the
little
one race,
extra.
I was heading down, and I don't know if he saw traffic or out the one at end door, and he hit his brakes and just stopped mid,
Oh,
Oh,
my.
no.
and then on the way back, started bucking and hopping and.
Wow.
Uh-oh,
Somebody's gotta have that on video for me to see.
I know.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that's funny. I saw Beth, your sister,
Yeah.
up at the food court part, and she said, "Oh, Dave's down riding horses." She's like, "We're headed that direction."
Oh, shoot, what night was
So-
that?
Thursday
Thursday
night,
night.
but it's fun event, I love doing it, good kids there,
Yeah.
they asked me to go and compete with them and.
There's always a lot of horses at the fair too.
There is, there
There's
was a
some
lot
nice
of
ones. They're
horses.
beautiful animals.
Just beautiful.
Yeah,
Actually, I think the horse numbers were up this year.
were they? That's good. They have a nice place to put them now too.
They do, it's really nice.
All that upgrade they did to that barn was really awesome.
And you know, and you gotta give kudos to the fair board, they're really, I mean, they're trying to work things over.
Yeah.
A very limited budget.
Yeah. The Farm Bureau building, you know, that's nice.
Oh, yeah, they changed the
that over.
doors and stuff on that and. Yeah,
It was just so pleasant, you know, you just, I remember when I used to do bingo, it just, the sweat would just roll off my face standing still, and so. We had bingo and a nice crowd out there with the, your grandmother happened to win it all with most grandchildren, most great grandchildren. But it's getting slimmer to have that, married couple, you know, I had to start it off with 51 years, I thought somebody has to beat this, you know, so we. But it's hard to.
You know why Uncle Tom says we have so many cousins?
I'd like to know, right?
They didn't have a TV back then.
It was really nice, though. Whipco puts that on and they had quite a bit of cash, so we played blackout, he'll have out of money.
Ooh.
Well, even, I gotta give Louise credit, the
Yep,
flag raising and the Veterans Day, I mean, that just was very nice and well put together.
very, very nice. Once again, the weather makes it where people want to just kind of hang around and, makes it all good.
How'd your fingers turn out from?
Fine.
Did you
Did you
burn
grill your fingers
I
too?
did.
We're not talking about it, I can see, so. Yeah, but, I was out there every
Work
day.
comp or no? Work comp.
I think the best I can get.
You joke about that.
Cost $250. I think it just gets a lot more people to have a booth out there, and a lot more people come.
You know, they just do that deposit, but I had her, they can just keep that chip.
Yours was lovely, your booth was lovely.
My wife did a good job. I was
She
still on
did
the
an
airplane. when
excellent
she did
job,
that.
excellent,
Yeah.
excellent job, the, and
So everything lined up dress right dress.
Yeah.
Really good, all
So
squared
I gotta
away.
Just keep the old sergeant happy.
Yeah.
I knew that was true.
That's good, and I thought the Historical Society, their booth was top drawer, really, really nice, so, yeah. The food stands, you know, as I sat there, I was thinking, well, I'm gonna take some food home, and then about the time I get ready, there'd be a line, and then I think, well, maybe I'll go here, and then there was a line, so it's always good to see that line. Continual line up over the food.
It seemed like they had a lot of options.
There was options, yeah, Tiny's was out there, they was at Saturday, or Friday night, and they ran.
Boy, his steak sandwiches,
He
Who
ran
knew?
out, he ran out. So then he had to leave for a
chunk
while.
of meat on that. There's
The
no-
weather, I think we can
The only
attribute the
commercial,
whole
where's
thing
the
to the
meat?
weather.
That don't exist in Tiny's.
It was good there. The fair is very thankful for our donation. They thanked us, you know, over and over. But they're wondering if we have another 5,000 or 10,000 to help with the bathrooms. So I thought I would have bathrooms. So is there any money anywhere that we could help? I said I'd bring it up.
Not yet.
Or,
I mean, we'll maybe know something later, but.
Yeah, well, keep that in mind.
Well, 10 of it was for capital
Yeah,
projects,
I
so.
think they had plenty of capital projects and
I don't know.
they're doing good with fundraising. I mean, they had 2 fundraisers so far.
they are doing good.
Unless it's something that we budget next year.
Keep it in mind, just, keep it in mind, so.
I don't know if I think our capital improvements are kind of spoken for.
Yeah,
They definitely are.
I hope,
yeah.
we have enough.
Yeah, it's,
Between the towers and that building over there, we're kind of tapped out.
I agree. Building over there is, we went over it yesterday, met with the painter. Her painting would be done, what she can get done,
So that's the Aikman, right?
statement, yes.
So her bill, like that was in there, bills that, she's not done yet.
No,
So she, I guess, sends in a bill as she gets stuff done.
her contract, you know, being held up by other, folks can't delay us paying her. So yesterday I went through and made a video of where we're at, what she still needs to finish. She did take $650 off of the bill because she hasn't been able to get into that back immunization room because of all the construction going on in there. Todd still needs to go up and cut off the, water in those offices. It's like, while she's got the drywall cut out, that you can put right back in there and paint over it, and that still needs to be done, but we can't hold her up. It's in her contract. Was there for about an hour, but then today I will meet with, Corey, Gasco and Larry again to keep the, electrical moving. Corey said, you know, we bought that equipment a couple of years ago, that is still in boxes, and our warranties are kind of being worn out, so we need to get the cameras up and get some of this stuff going. It looks real good there, though, the paint looks real nice, and the carpet shampooed up, and still got a little there. I got the key to the bottom door, and so I need to have this configured in order for them to put the, gadget to open the door automatically with. So when I talked to, Larry today, they have to have electricity up there to plug it in. So we have to kind of make sure we get that done, but then they'll get that automatic.
You're gonna install that.
They do, it's part of Remedy Glass's bid, that they stuff this out, so we paid for what the work it is, just so the balance of it, so. I digress. Anyways, you done?
Terry, in our packet, what was the 35,000 for iPads?
That's for, the voting registers, the electronic registers.
Okay.
Yeah. We currently use laptops.
I haven't seen it yet.
With this system, quite a few counties are using it, and we had a demo last week. It's gonna be, even better, I think, than what we're currently using.
Do we have to prove that?
Yeah, Yeah.
And you got
to go into the contract.
budget to cover.
Well, that was, I emailed you guys letting you know that it was probably gonna create a budget amendment.
That's right.
But, so we want to go ahead and get it before the general. We also have a special election in September for the Schleswig school districts. And we're hoping to get, 3 or 4 of them to use there in a smaller
Yes.
scale to test it out, use it. Some of the girls are gonna actually go up there and work that election, it's the precincts, is it Emmanuel Lutheran in Schleswig? Is that their church? Emmanuel? I think so. That's where our precinct is.
But you guys
So-
got it so smooth, I mean, as primary walking in, and you just.
Yeah, it works
Yeah.
so well. The primary, we had some troubles with the printers. And we've had different troubles, so, and those laptops are just of age that they need to be rotated out, they need to get out of there, so. And it's easier to do it all in the same boat rather than having some old equipment, some new equipment, all that kind of stuff,
Can
so.
you trade back in the other laptops? or-
I don't know if they're gonna have a good value or not. I'll talk to Jake about it and see if he has any ideas. It's got the Windows on it, I believe, is not supported anymore. So unless someone wanted to update those, that window processor in there, and I don't know how much something like that costs, but yeah.
Is the other option that he just scraps them and he just takes them and, destroys them? Is that? kind of-
Yeah. Yes.
You would think that he could take them back to factory settings
I
and,
know, but part of it's the Windows, whichever Windows is on it, and if it's not supported anymore, you don't get updates, it's hard to find. I don't know, I'm not
Do
the
you know how
IT
old they
person,
are?
obviously.
I know.
I don't remember. I think they're over 5 years old.
Kinda like try and get somebody to go back to that flip phone.
Right, exactly.
Some people like flip phones, they wish I could still get them.
You can.
Kyle Ulrich, well,
That don't
that
count.
is, Kyle Ulrich and JR probably still have. flip
The old flip
The old
phones.
flip.
Old flip phones.
Oh, yeah, no, I like having my smartphone.
I don't know where they get them, but they, yeah, they like.
Probably Amazon or something, I suppose. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah.
Even,
And so the cost of what the laptops were gonna be are comparable to this new, system, having tablets and it'll be the small printers, small laser printers and anyway. So not much of a cost difference, actually a little less than what the laptops and all that was gonna be.
okay, well, having a smooth election is for us,
Huge.
So you're up next, but I didn't, so I'm just gonna answer you that, but in our expenses payable, there was a radio, I think, tower payment or something, $480,000. Is that,
Raycom.
is Raycom?
That's right, Tom.
Is that an annual
No,
payment or is that?
No, what it is to purchase the equipment and then the installation, we've got it broke down. You know, like if you do a remodel on a house, say, you got so much, you pay 30% up front, and then another 20 and a 20, and then the finish and the remainder, 10% or whatever would be left. That's kind of how that's set up to pay too.
So is this the last payment?
No, we won't have the last payment till like January. That's kind of what I was told
Yeah,
recently by Tim.
right. We
I
have
thought it
like,
was gonna be in August, but
we have about 1.1 million left to pay them.
Pay them.
Yes.
This is a portion of that.
That's a
one.
portion of it. As we progress through,
Okay.
we'll pay them again. And they have it, like you said, they have it set up
we
on a
tried to spread
percentage.
it out over, it started last year already, last fiscal year, and
Yeah.
then this year, we, tried to spread it out a little bit, because the parts weren't coming in anyway, so. Stretch it out, so it wasn't impacted the
Yeah,
budget.
we'll get him part this year.
kind of knew it was all
Yeah,
coming.
this year will be, but at least the towers are all paid, well. Yeah. Shelters have still got a little bit that they.
We talked about a budget amendment for that project, but it'll be good to
There's
have it over.
some grounding that's still not done properly, so,
Oh, yeah,
or
that's
not
that.
completely, I should say.
Completely improper.
That's another thing. I'm gonna call Tim about that before I sign off on it.
But I look at these counties, Otay, that don't have a general fund,
Yeah.
how do they, I mean, you can do budget, but I don't know how they, at least we have a little bit of cushion because we've been prudent.
Mhm. Yeah, I don't know how they function. I mean, they gotta probably get loans, then you got interest you're paying.
I know, yeah.
Instead of Sherry making all that interest for us,
Right.
they're paying it.
Right.
So I mean, it's credit to the boards before us.
Right.
And,
That's that birthday.
Not that we wanna deplete it, but I mean,
No,
it
no.
gives us that flexibility,
Well, and this is a one-time thing. I mean, obviously you got your continual maintenance, but the towers is a one-time thing, and. I mean, how often do you have to actually, at least 5 years, you're gonna make it, and hopefully the equipment will, different things like that that are.
Right, we'll
and
have
then, like,
maintenance, we'll
like
have. after that.
The, getting the city center, hopefully it's just, obviously you get continuous maintenance, but it's a one-time thing. But it serves your objective is to serve the taxpayers better.
And we should, down the road here in a few years, really hone in on what that means. It's gonna cost us year to year. I mean, once we're gonna get through
Mhm.
Right,
your time.
Right.
right, cause EMA shouldn't need the 500,000 every year that we've been doing for a number of years.
Mhm.
I mean, hopefully it's 2.5, 3 maybe.
Right.
You know what I mean, that kind of stuff.
But I actually had one of our citizens was talking to me about if we had an emergency, what if communications went down? I said, well, here's the thing. In Crawford County, we've got our own system. We're not dependent on the state or anyone else. We've got our own closed system, that can link into them.
Which is why we went that route.
Exactly.
And we own the ground that they're on.
Yeah, so it's all, and so those are some things, and I mean,
Which we would-
reassured that person that,
We would've taken a
we're
back
thinking
seat.
ahead.
If we would have went to the state system, we would have had one tower
Yeah.
and we would have taken a back seat to the state troopers and state anything.
Well, and just think about our Aspinalls, I mean, you gotta assume that tower would have been like up on the Ridge Road, okay, so then, all the outlying corners of the county are kind of out to lunch if they're, don't have good service. I mean, we wouldn't be any better than we all were before this, our own town, so.
We're
I
getting
don't-
there, we're getting there.
I think we're doing our folks a good service, you know?
And it needed to be done. I mean,
We're done for a while, so everything takes time.
Yep.
So you're up, Ty?
Okay, well, I'll go over, I forgot all my papers at home from the conference. I thought I had them in the briefcase, but there was so much. I put them in another suitcase and,
The suitcase?
yeah, all that stuff starts to weigh, make my briefcase awful heavy. But, we got this thing to go over, Council of Governments, you know, I don't know why Chris said this, Terry and I, and you included, but it's about, their, and maybe it's the rural development thing, because I talked to him so much about that stuff, so maybe that's why he did, but it's, USDA Rural Development, it's that owner occupied housing rehabilitation program they got. They wanted us to send Chris a letter of support so that he can apply for that once again, and he'd like to have it by Thursday. So I'll pass it around for you guys to look at. I think it's something that we need to have Gene sign and send it off to Chris by
and
Thursday.
you write the letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
And
guys
just put
can
it on
adjust
your
it,
letterhead.
change it, anything we want to, so go ahead and take a peek at it.
Yeah.
What a good thing to do.
24,900.
Well, it takes care of all the small, you know, the people that have a little bit of economic strain and still need windows or siding or a roof.
So it's not just down payment assistance, it's
No, this is stuff to rehabilitate the house.
owner occupied.
And I put multiple lines, so if
We can.
all of you wanna sign it, whatever.
Yeah, yeah, we can. The other thing that I haven't got a chance to talk to you guys about is we had the EMA meeting on, what we were supposed to be doing, you know, cause there's concerns out there, and I wanna just, before I even get started, we have got a great bunch of mayors. I mean, they are engaged in things. They show up now. They've got great input. You know, even like Tom Merrillback hasn't been to a lot of them because we just didn't know how to get a hold of him. And I mean, that was,
10 o'clock or 9:30
phone
at the
number.
co-op, he brings cookies. That's, you know.
there you go. Well, anyway, I got his number and stuff now. And we're actually creating a system to get a hold of everybody. But I mean, they're all engaged. I mean, right? All of them stay very engaged in the process, questions, comments. I mean, I'm very impressed with the group of mayors.
Shoot.
I am.
Sorry.
And
God bless you.
I mean, and I appreciate their assistance on making these other commissions and stuff that we have to work efficiently, you know, I mean, they call, they ask questions to me, I mean, and I try to do some research for them, so I'm very impressed with the bunch we got. So I wanted to start out by saying that, because it's, you know, the conference board counts on them, obviously EMA board, and there's other boards out there, 911, I mean, that's kind of got, I think, a lot of fire service people on there, but I believe the mayors appoint them, don't they? I mean, I'm speaking off a guess there, I assume.
They used to.
But, anyway, we had a pretty good meeting. They talked everything over real well. There was the, matter with, Greg in his absence. How do we deal with this? You know, I mean, do we continue to pay him? How do we do this? You know, I mean, cause you gotta always remember, we've got the human factor. You gotta deal with, you know, how this is affecting Greg and then you also got the taxpayers factor. You gotta deal with how it's affecting the budget, you know. So I mean, they really talked it out well. They decided how they were gonna go is this program or what all I'm supposed to actually say publicly, but I mean, they'll pay him for 120 days and then at that point, we'll take future considerations, but I have to take some blame. Some of the wording I had in the line items for the agenda, I had it too narrow so that we had to talk. So we actually just kind of tabled a couple of them because it would have committed them to, and we wouldn't have achieved our objectives. First of all, we wanted to be able to talk through whether we wanted to go full-time and, or stay part-time, but I didn't put or part-time. I just said going forward to full-time. So that would have all we've been able to talk about is going full-time. And we want to be able to discuss what way we want to go. But
If you think it's a full-time job,
I do. And I think if you're doing it completely. I think Greg's just been strapped for time, you know, and a lot of things, and that's why he hasn't went to, you know, I get complaints that doesn't show up. Now, Tim did show up to
He did.
their training for elections. You know, I mean, there's a lot of things you just probably don't have time to do if it's not a full-time job. But here's the other thing, we're having all these questions on because Greg didn't have any vacation, he didn't have any sick leave, he didn't have any of that stuff. There's no time cards that go with him. I mean, there's no job description out there that we can find. I don't know if Greg's got something, but, well, I mean, we just don't have, it's like the world's run on a handshake yet, and we obviously know that don't work very well.
Why did Greg get hired?
Gosh, he's been there for,
A long, I don't
I
know.
know he's been there.
I know. I am not sure, to be honest.
Ty, can I clarify one thing before we go too much further?
Yeah.
So with the, what is the federal leave act?
FMLA, yeah,
Did
federal
you
medical.
decide to continue to pay him another 120 days or
It's actually 12 weeks.
12 weeks.
12 weeks?
12 weeks.
But doesn't that just kind of save the job? Is that?
Yeah, it protects his job.
Yeah, but the motion was made to continue to pay.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
I did get visited, I stopped in Graceville to see my neighbor.
But
He's there, and I goes to the break, he thought he was gonna be open.
so I mean, it might expire before then, but while he's on that, he's actually not allowed to work.
Okay.
I mean, that was part of this, what we were told by our HR.
Makes
Chelsea.
sense. Absolutely makes sense. Just
Okay.
wanted to clarify on that.
Well, I give you credit for going through and doing what you do, but it's not easy. You're dealing with somebody you want to get well.
Yeah.
Been a long time employee.
Right, but yeah, you gotta keep moving forward.
Yeah, we gotta do our job. I mean, there is the expectation that, you know, to follow that. So anyway, we didn't get to talk about going forward, and the reason that is because I didn't leave it open enough to discuss staying part-time. And, I think
Oh,
that's,
yeah, that'd be
but,
great.
but, I mean, I think one way or the other, but I think it's a full-time job mainly because then you give these benefits, and we're not having this discussion again ever. That was one of my key points. However, the primary thing is, I think there's a lot that EMAs should be doing that a part-time person just doesn't have time to do, even if they got it back in. All right, there's just a lot to do that isn't getting done in my mind, especially as we've added the towers to their job and there's other things that'll be coming. So I mean,
Well, and there's things that are smaller communities that,
Take
you know,
all
they
the
feel
time you
like
need.
they're not getting the early service that they need from the federal government that they try to get. And they say, well, your local coordinator should have those and then.
Yeah.
That part.
you know, grant opportunities, maybe he doesn't, I mean, he should be able to go to trainings and stuff like that and be able to focus full-time on that, you know, community outreach. Community
Yeah,
outreach,
for
exactly,
sure.
working with all the agencies, creating collective trainings. There's a lot that is done, and most of our counties around us actually have the person's full-time, so. And obviously the bigger counties. it's
Does
that-
ISAC support EMA? Is that a affiliate or no? I know, I don't know. I've never
I would
noticed.
guess, yes,
I know, I don't know.
I'm trying to think of our 21 board members.
I know.
They all are.
yeah, do you have an EMA? You know, we have a lot, we've had a lot of
Maybe they have
seminars
another
done.
Yeah, I
agency
was gonna
that
say with
backs
that
them
seminar.
up or whatever,
That monk,
Homeland Security or something.
from
AJ Mom.
AJ, he's been involved in a lot of.
Is that
things, but
It's EMA.
Environmental.
I know he's from West Side originally, and but he's EMA, yeah. Or one of the metropolitan areas, I
Like Des Moines.
don't know, it was Polk County
Yeah,
or,
I think you're
I
right.
think it is, yeah, so.
If they don't, they should. I mean. ISAC support.
Then the one other thing that we did talk about, just to give you the heads up, is the creating it, whether on the full-time, part-time, but we're creating a job description, you know, and then hours, things and stuff like that to basically be able to track and prove to the taxpayers that you're getting what you're paying for, you know.
Isn't Jack for any, writing up that job description or anything?
Yeah, well, we got some job description. Gene looks them up for me. And so the mayors are looking them over now. Any job description we make, obviously, what we're gonna do is form a little task force. I mean, and that's something else that I should have worded a little better. So we didn't vote on anything. But, get the task force established to create a job description. And then obviously run it through Jack's deal there. and Amy. And Amy was at the meeting for us, and so was Chelsea. So I mean, we had HR consulting for the mayors there. And they asked some questions. So I mean, it worked out really.
City of Denison have some ideas on kind of join us in partnering with some of their staff. Was there?
We've talked about some stuff. Yeah, and I mean, that's just, you know, in the speculative realm right now. I mean, to try to help cover costs, because they've got some things that they're taking care of and kind of would fall in the emergency management world. That could actually, we could do a 2080 where they help fund a new full-time AMA position. Plus, I'm trying to figure out, instead of having a backup person, maybe you use people that are already on full-time status in the county.
They've
Just
been
back
talking
it.
about that for a while, is why I wondered if they.
I mean, we're basically throwing darts at the wall to see which one stick at this point. So, I mean, that was kind of my.
Did you tie it in with like Corey Snowden?
No, I wouldn't tie it in with any of the individual departments. You know, they've got the flood zone stuff
Yeah.
over in Denison, you know, and they got a full-time person in that.
Oh, yeah,
That could be part. That's why I said, if you start putting all this together, it's definitely a full-time position. But it's got multiple funding sources then, you know, like, because obviously Denison's the biggest part of the flood concern. So I mean, and they've got their flood zones and districts and all that stuff that even Paul's helped create. But if you get somebody that's watching all them things full-time, you know, that's kind of what we're exploring at this point. And to try to create a little more effective EMA, I think it's gonna have to be full-time. It's just, you're asking a lot. You start talking about all those things, somebody is part-time. Plus, you know, there's also the looking after that person. And I think that's critical going forward. So I think we've learned some lessons here, and we're just gonna try to improve the system based upon. And to give Paul the ability to get to his, because he's got things to do, I'm gonna shut up. Madam Chair, I surrender the
You
floor.
can finish if you have more later. Thank you, Ty, for your update.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone. Paul, you're.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Let's see, get those passed around, start with that, I guess.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Keep going around that way and keep going around that way, so. Yeah. Got a couple of permits, one's just a service line going across Kenwood Road, they're gonna bore. And then there's two I didn't put on here because they're old ones that have been revised. This is for the sanitary sewer main out here on the east edge of town by Yellowstone Park Road. They completely kind of changed the permit now. They're gonna go on the west side of Yellowstone Park Road, force main, and then cross up the top of the hill and serve those houses that Larry Herring's doing. Yep. So it'll all be bored. It's be very minimal disturbance, but they are different. So
When are they gonna do that?
well, I'm not sure the exact timing of it, but they're wanting to get the permits. And so, yes, I had no problem with that. You know, we just didn't want to tear that west ditch up because trying to get it revegetated and everything. So they'll set a manhole right at PCS, kind of the northwest corner of PCS or northeast corner of PCS. In the right of way, and then they're gonna bore the rest of it.
Oh, okay.
A couple of bore pits. Everybody should be happy. So I'll just have to have, these have been approved, I just have to have Gene sign. There's like 4 copies of each one. Have chair sign, so, you know, you don't have to go right now, you just wanna sign them, and just have somebody bring them back down, it's fine.
Sounds good.
But we have that bridge replacement on the E16 is going well. They poured the base slab last Friday, and we'll continue to work on the flume portion. So this has a concrete flume on it, which is a little more complicated, but it's project's moving along real well. It's good. And you know, we get another few weeks of dry weather, and they get the floor slab in. That's really where it's the problem, and they can start working on the walls. It'll go together real well. So, then we're trying to get the Vale Bridge ready for January letting. That's the one just south of town there. Everything's kind of falling into place on that. Donna Reed, just as a, update, we're in the railroad limbo time.
Oh, boy.
And so it just, it truly is pushing on a rope with them. We just gotta wait. kind of politely and persistently.
Do you think it's just because they've got so many miles of rail and there's so many different projects out there, just you kind of wait your turn?
Yeah.
Is that what you?
And they actually hire a third party, consultant to run interference for them. And, city paid $50,000 to have them review everything, but then this one, because they don't want the new bridge to occupy any of their right of way. Okay, and currently the piers are sitting in their right of way, which, is gonna cause it to be much longer, there's all kinds of bad things that start to happen if that's, hard and fast, so we're in that kind of, so that has to go up
If
the
you got
flagpole
backed up.
that
Doesn't that make that approach coming off of 30 steeper?
Well, yeah, then you have to raise Highway 30. We've already had the federal highways already weighed in, so that is not gonna happen. So we're just kind of going through the process, but it just takes time. It just takes time.
What's the longest you've ever had to wait for the railroad? Is this gonna break some records maybe?
Probably actually was on the Canadian National when we did the overlay on E16. I mean, I had 2 sets of plans ready at 5 o'clock the night before we were gonna approve them. And I got a call and they said, well, we'll give you an agreement. I mean, we worked for 2 years with them.
Okay,
So, we had a set that included the crossing plan, and one that didn't. And I said, we're gonna approve one or the other tomorrow.
okay, all right. I just
And
wondered what your,
5 o'clock that afternoon, I finally got
okay, persistent.
an agreement, but we worked for 2 years with
2
them.
years, okay.
That was just on a simple
Simple railroad.
crossing.
Yeah, you weren't even in there right away and.
Well, we were, but it was on our roadway, but we just wanted to, replace the approach slabs right next to the railroad.
Which
And,
makes me appreciate our wooden bridges that we got done with them, how smooth that went, where it could have
Yeah.
gone, they could have said.
Yeah. I know, that worked out great, Dave. And I mean, it pushed it down the road another 25 years or so. At some point, something's gonna have to be done with those bridges, but we at least got something.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm very happy with that. So anyhow, that's just kind of a quick update on those two as well. Great crew, they moved up to J Avenue. They'll be working there for probably a month and a half. There's a 1.5 miles of grading up there. If you get a chance and you go south, you can't go south on 59. But if you decide to go there and kind of that U Avenue, they're right at the corner that goes east. Did a really nice job on that.
Looks
Just
good.
finish that up, so, yep.
There'll be somebody bails off of Kenwood. Shoot right up there, it looks like a highway.
It does, it looks really nice. Bridge crew then, they're finishing up that structural plate on Inn Avenue. Nice project. And, they'll be, backfilling that the rest of this week. And then when they get done with that, they're gonna do some patching on F51 South of Charter Road. And E16 which is closed now, so be a good time to do that. Roadside guys are spraying, so.
How are you doing with the dust control stuff? Cause I'm getting complaints about it.
I got it later down here, but we can go ahead and talk about the Highway 59 detour and the issues there.
Yeah, you do have it down
Yeah.
there. Sorry,
We'll just wait that. So, and then I have the resolution, for the reclassification as item 4, so. And I don't know if you want me to read it or if you just wanna, but basically it's just say that, the county is hereby reclassify the road described as area service B road. With said maintenance to comply with Crawford County Ordinance 99-2, which is our level B ordinance. So, it's the section we'll be talking about, so.
Talked to Dean on at the fair about it a little bit, he said, you just gotta do it.
Yeah,
And he
Yeah.
just-
I did
he was
too.
in favor of it. Just-
yeah. Well, the one thing that I tell people is that we've always here tried to accommodate road issues with the need of the people they're using the roads, we don't drive those roads. I drive a fraction of the roads in the county and it's the people that are out there using them, so back 20 years ago, we accommodated the request to limit access. And, so now if you're accommodating the request to facilitate better access.
So Paul,
And so-
upon the passage of this resolution, will you direct someone to remove the gate?
Yeah, we'll take the gates out.
But we're also gonna put a dead end.
Sorry, yeah,
It's already there.
sorry, there's gravel ends ahead, dead end, red flags on it.
Yeah, looks nice.
Good. So, yeah, I mean, it's consistent with, I guess what I'm trying to say is it's consistent with what we've done since I've been here, is that, you try to accommodate the users, the people that the roads our services.
Beautiful new home going up. We hate to
So,
deprive somebody
yeah.
from being able to get to their home, so.
Well, even if they wouldn't mind opening the gates, shutting the gates, I mean, what about with an emergency situation or something
Yeah.
like that, you know?
Yeah.
Especially in the winter time or anything.
So we have we'll take care of number 4 here since that's on our list next. So do we have a motion to approve that resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? If not, I'll call the vote. Craig?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Ty?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Resolution has been passed.
Okay, thank you. There's the, should there we can be signed by Terry. Traffic counters, I don't know if you've noticed, they're
You ever
around
seen them all
town here,
over?
they're out in the county, they're doing our traffic count. They do it every 4 years, and so, you'll see a lot of those. Hopefully our blade operators respect them.
Well,
Every once in a
that'll
while.
do.
Oh, yeah, they're all over
What's
the
the
county.
point? Are they trying to?
It's an update of traffic volume, you know.
Is that at all?
You ever seen one of them maps?
Funding,
Shows your traffic count?
grants,
Yeah.
federal
Ever
funding,
seen one of
everything,
them?
they can say, hey, we have higher traffic volume
Be
in
interested.
Crawford County.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, so it's really helpful, useful data. And they do it every 4 years. And of course, our last one was 2020, which probably what they didn't do because it, you know, was skewed by
It's too
COVID.
late.
They didn't do them at all?
There's,
Because that person sitting in that car by himself could be a danger.
So I see there's one on down.
well, no, it really had no impact on whether they could do it or not. It was just that the traffic wasn't there.
Well, that's just it.
I mean, it was just people weren't.
Well, I know it's, in the city limits, but since you pass it every day, as do I, what are they plan on doing on North Tenth? I see they got some barricades potentially coming up and they've already cut the road.
They must be doing some sort of utility connection.
Okay.
That's the only thing I can
All right.
think of, Craig, 'cause I know, I see that, it's like, especially those ones that are tipped over, and there's a stub sticking up, I think, man, if you have to veer off the road, you hit that thing, it'll pop a hole in your transmission at the bottom of your engine. But,
Okay.
I have no
All
idea,
right.
yeah,
Somebody's asked me and I said, I don't know.
yeah.
Utility makes sense. So that doesn't-
Yeah, I think it's probably a utility crossing or some sort. Late summer auction is just kind of our standard, we got a couple pickups, nothing too great on that coming up here in August. The Highway 59 closure detour, so, you know, so we met with them and talked, about, you know, how that's gonna unfold. And we did some preemptive dust control on a few spots. But what happened, I mean, Friday morning was kind of a disaster. We had a ton of vehicles going up this level B road, 270, which is a nice road, it's graded, but it's just very narrow, so we just had a lot of things in up there because they didn't have a hard closure here at the intersection with road paving, which is speed to that's official.
Do they now?
Yeah, there are signs. So,
I mean, is it a hard?
yeah, it's not fence, but there's 4 barricades across the highway. And so I called Mr. Albert, I said, hey, I said, the only way you traffic count up here is to show on Google Maps, the road's closed from here to here, and put a hard closure there, you know, deter people from, you know, put enough signs so that they get there. It's like, well, we better not go, you see all the signs, you know? I kind of have your wife with your
Especially
car, says, you know, I think I'll go through. She said, no, you're not. It's closed. So, it worked. It worked. And then we put closures up here too. And I had a phone call. I said, you know, I was talking to Jeff Arnold's down there. And I said, yeah, no matter what I do, somebody's not gonna be happy here. Okay, because he was happy, you know, we get phone calls. And Arnold's, Royal, you know. So we decided to close South Main up here, staggered type 3, so a vehicle can still get through and you can still use the road. But a big semi is probably not gonna negotiate that. The same thing with these down here. So the DOT allowed us to do that. At Troy Command and we went down there and worked with them and put our signs up. They're gonna switch them out with their contractor here sometime this week. But we put the signs up and all the traffic is coming this way. And some of it's sprinkling out through here. You're probably seeing some of that. But at least we got most of it going this direction. And I think you know, I've not, I mean, the phone's blown up on Friday morning, but I haven't had a phone call since then. other than somebody wondering why we closed this. That was to my point is that, you know, you're always gonna have somebody who's concerned about what you did. But we closed that, and I was down there yesterday, and I got 10 cars that Friday morning. Nebraska plates, you know, okay.
Well, you know, if a truck would get through there,
Every time I drove that, they were
turn around,
Yeah,
they're gonna have some.
so we have dust control on Gunner Reed. I don't know how many people are going there, but you know, we had a problem with that the last time we closed it up here. You know, we drove, I was down talking to Larry yesterday, drove some of these roads. I haven't had, the office hasn't had any calls yet from here. But I think, you know, once you get about 3 or 4 or 5 days into a detour, people kind of start to find where they're gonna go. You know, it's that first day or two, I mean, I was down there yesterday at the bridge, you know, talking to the contractor. There were still cars, and I don't know how they got there, they were coming up, they were turning around at the barricade. I mean, you had to drive through all kinds of stuff to even get there. And actually, the north barricade, which is a fence, somebody had completely cut it.
Oh,
And it drove through. Now, if they did get through that, they ended up going over something about that deed on several locations. If they did that, I don't know.
Oh, they're not accessing through S Avenue.
Or,
They're not getting in there through S Avenue, are
well,
they?
I mean, you know, somebody possibly could, but if you look on Google Maps, do it right now if you want, I mean, check it. Highway 59 is closed from here up to here.
Right.
Is that on our 511 too, then, I suppose?
It should be, yeah, it should be BOPs, but the problem was on Friday morning, it was showing it closed from like, you know, up in here somewhere, just this little section, so, you know, Google Maps is still gonna bring up here. You know, so the ones that closed through here, then they changed it too, and then that changed everything. So, so we've got some dust control out there, we'll continue to monitor, DOT's been really good about, hey, you know, working with us on putting dust control where we need it, but
Have you got any calls from anybody on Donna Reed?
not since, no, I mean, I'm aware of that. Unfamiliarity with roadway, you gotta, I hate to say it, you have to drive it.
So is that what
if you're not
could-
familiar with the road, it's signed appropriately,
Was that on a state car?
everything's there. But
Pickup, I guess, the vehicle
But
pulling
if you're on a
your
roadway,
roadway.
you're not familiar with, I don't know any of the particulars, I just, you know, somebody said, well, it was somebody that was there because of the detour. It could very well have been, and that's unfortunate, but it is, there's a certain responsibility on the part of the drivers to be aware of the fact.
The actual
that
detour
you're not
route
familiar
as
with
you're
your
driving.
drive accordingly. So,
You know,
yeah, I don't know. Haven't got any phone calls since Friday morning,
I haven't either.
so.
Unless they're still going past my house, I'd like to see how they get turned around once they get up to that bridge.
You know, I honestly, that hard closure should be right here at Bucket Arms, or the minimum, where you turn, and go over to,
Because
Veterans.
once they get past mine, that crest speed there, that I don't know where you turn around now, because you have a big truck.
Yeah. And, you know, that wasn't really impacting our roadways, so I didn't go there, but if I was the project engineer, I'd move those all the way up to,
The bucket.
well, probably just north of that a little, or south of that just a little bit, where they can turn and go to Veterans.
Taking that
That's
crap.
probably where I put those, just like we did there, I put 4 barricades across it, you know, at least then a semi can go up and we can turn around somewhere and get back.
truck wash.
So
She'd say 6 weeks.
6 to 8,
6 days.
we'll see,
Hopefully, we don't have any
Yeah.
more wrecks.
yeah.
Rest of it I can live with.
Yeah, no one wants an action. You don't, and I think, you know, you try to do everything you can to try to have detours that are consistent, appropriate, so. Safety meeting, luncheon, secondary roads, that'll be out at the park, we're gonna do some chainsaw safety, so we're gonna help cut down some of those dead ash trees. And actually do a physical, you know, actually got a guy with the DNR that's gonna come and do some training, then we'll have luncheon out there, so. In December, we'll do one at the new Manila shop, because they're not quite there yet. This chainsaw safety, we need trees to cut down, so.
I should probably take that.
Mill
So,
shop's all done.
and then tomorrow, is the lunch, yeah, they're moving into it. Tomorrow is the wellness luncheon here, and, so if anyone wants a grilled chicken sandwich, we got some chicken patties from Staley's. Tim Berry and I are gonna grill them out here at 11:30 and 1 tomorrow. So, welcome to come.
I'll be out of town. Sorry.
And then the last thing, just a couple of things, I had an email from the city police department on, are we getting the standard rate for fuel? And we've been doing this anyhow, but I thought it was good for everybody to kind of see the amount of cost difference between, so Growmark is the tank, the tanker quantity, that's the 8,000 gallon quantities that we get and deliver here. And so you can see the cost difference, and sometimes it's really significant. Can be $1, a gallon. So, between the tanker quantity, which is your bulk quantity versus tank wagon. And so, we provide to 11 entities out of our fueling system down here in the city. Dennison's biggest user, but it's a significant savings in cost versus just going and buying it at a service station.
Shows right there, the price.
Mm-hmm, yeah. So, you got 60 cents right now.
That's off-road.
Yeah, it's all off-road, right.
All of it's off-road here?
Yeah, this is all off-road, yeah.
But you said, I thought you said the police were, law enforcement were asking about prices.
They were asking about prices, so I sent this to them.
Oh, the gas.
Are they getting the standard rate? And I kind of went into a little bit of a dissertation because I thought, you're getting the best fuel price you could possibly get in Denison. Probably about anywhere. So that, because we're buying it in bulk quantities and we sell it at the, we don't increase anything. We eat all of the vapor loss, which can be 1.5% to 2%, on a 50,000 gallon a year deal.
Adds up.
That adds up to several $1,000s. We just eat that. And, but again, we've talked about this, that it's a service to the greater good of the communities, the entities within the county. And so,
Ambulance service.
yeah. But I think it's important for them to understand that there's some real value there.
It's not a money maker for the county.
No.
The county isn't doing anything other than absorbing a whole bunch of costs. That, so just sharing that with you. Appreciate that. Yeah, and then, one other thing, just kind of this, like, I kind of call it hidden value, it's the little things. We rented a JLG lift because we had to get underneath the bridge over by West Side. They either have weekly or monthly rentals, and so, the weekly rental was, I think, in that $1,500 range. The monthly rental was like $5,800. And we only used it 10 days, so a phone call to them saying, hey, we only had it there a couple of weeks. Do we really have to pay the monthly rate? So they dropped it to $2,600. Had a transmission in that motor grader. It's all done now. And, $36,000 bill. I called them up and said, hey, we're great customers. Is there anything you can do? They knocked $5,200 off. So, some of the little things that you just kind of always looking for opportunities to try to,
Keep the bill down.
keep the bills down. Yeah. Instead of just taking it, paying it. I've always kind of been a little bit of a negotiator.
That adds up too.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
I said my dad was I used to really admire when I go with him and he'd be buying something, is his negotiating abilities. God's not the truth. I think he would have negotiated on a pair of shoes if he could have. So, but again, and I enjoy it, but it's just the kind of the little hidden
Yep.
little things that kind of add up.
So
So,
put that in the job description.
Yep.
yeah,
We're gonna add that.
so.
Treat your budget as if it's your own money.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah,
Let's be able
I mean,
to-
and that's the way I operate all the time, it's just, sometimes there's opportunities to, especially if you got a really good relationship, and we do with Ziegler,
Right. Exactly.
and I think they appreciate that, but so you have to ask for things sometimes, they don't just, they're just not gonna offer it up, so.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Really appreciate that, Paul.
Thanks, sir.
Really do.
Yeah, if anybody's around tomorrow, trying to spread the word, just right out here in the
He said that. Jake-
patio out here, those picnic tables are sitting.
Ask him if he wants
So,
to.
Craig,
Jake, if he's on his own.
Jake, IT's tomorrow at 2.
You gonna be there, Dave?
So anyhow, you're welcome to
Yeah,
come,
no,
so.
thank you very much.
Thanks, Paul.
See y'all.
Okay.
Is Jake coming or do you?
Yeah, I'm waiting for him.
You wanna wait for him?
Yeah,
Okay, all right,
let's
we'll
get-
continue on.
Yeah.
I was asked to try to get you in before the end here, so as soon as it comes, we'll get you in, alrighty? All right, where did we'll be? So now we have discussion, take action, amend the June 25th, 2024 board minutes, public hearing, oral objections. Terry, I bet that's you.
Yeah, so it was noted in the minutes that there were no written or oral, and the true part is there were no written objections, but there were oral objections. I'm thankful for Renee for saying something last week, but the oral objections were from, Renee Clausen, Norman Ertz, Dean and Beth Arkensinger.
Okay,
And that was in regards to that public hearing for the, reclassification of a portion of K Avenue.
good to be noted and good to be changed. So do I have a motion to amend that?
Second.
Any further discussion on that? Otherwise, I'll call the motion. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Chair votes aye. That amendment has been approved. Thank you, Terry, for doing that.
You bet.
Jake, you're up with the mini splitter for IT room in the city center. What's going on there?
Just approval for the quote. We've gone through and you had a couple of questions, maybe
Uh-huh.
trying to sharpen pencils or something along those lines.
Always?
I talked with, the reason why I didn't get it on last week's was because I was still in a discussion with Todd, over at Carroll Control Systems about the mini split in general.
Refresh my memory, what exactly does this do?
This is,
Why-
this
why is
cools
it
that,
needed?
this cools that room and all the equipment that's inside of it. And it has to be separate from the building because if one, you're controlling your dust, two, you're controlling the humidity in there, with this device.
So
So,
why is it called a mini splitter?
because it's split, well, if you're gonna,
Do you, if you go to a hotel, there's the air conditioner unit in under the window, but there's also a piece that's outside the wall. It's a split. Instead of an all one window unit or something, it's a split, they call it.
Okay.
I got one in my
That's-
living room at home. That's the only reason I'm wet.
yeah,
We have two of them in our house.
so,
Put
yeah,
them in your house?
Yes.
so, but yes, and as I reviewed previous, quotes from Todd regarding this a couple of years ago. The one for the EMA room was 8,500, you account for inflation. You're getting pretty close to this particular dollar amount, so. Now, there was an opportunity to maybe change models, but we've had very good history with. Cause all the mini splits in this, in the courthouse are Mitsubishi. And we've only had to have two serviced in the 30-year timeline. So to really deviate from that and go to a different model, just for the sake of, trying to shave a few pennies off, it seemed kind of.
Well, they have a good reputation.
Exactly, that's what I'm alluding to here. So why deviate from that? So, but yeah, so Todd, that's what Todd was offering up to me. I didn't know that we were all outfitted with Mitsubishi, so,
Very good. All
um,
right.
so.
So how long will it be before he can get it here? What's the?
He did not give me a timeline. I asked him and I asked him, it's like, well, could maybe the other model get in here sooner than the others? And he's like, no, it's, so.
We're talking a month.
Like I said, I didn't get an exact date. I'm hoping a couple of weeks.
Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure it's not a 2-year wait.
No, it's not gonna be anything like that.
All right.
Because obviously they gotta order the part or
So-
order it,
so-
so that's gonna
You
take
cover
time.
that out of your budget.
Um,
Or are we doing
It's
capital
it's
improvements?
part of the building.
So we're doing capital improvements.
Usually if it stays with the building, we
Okay.
have it. So that's
so,
my question to.
So is that part of the original RFP or just part of
No.
No.
capital improvement on the building?
Wasn't that in your original RFP?
no, that was just IT equipment. There was no infrastructure items in that RFP.
So that's why we have it on our agenda to approve getting that purchase, get it bought so we can get that room
Yeah,
up and
let's do
running. So we have a motion to approve that.
So moved?
Any further discussion on the mini splitter for the IT room? More questions? I'll call the vote. All in favor, aye.
All right.
Any opposed, same sign? Chair votes aye. All right, let's get it ordered today, please.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll go ahead and get a copy of it, and send it out to Todd.
Thank you.
Yep.
See you tomorrow.
Sure, but we'll go down to your report here so that you can, get that over with if you want to.
Here.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Is it your birthday? Happy birthday.
Accept presents all day.
You two have presents.
Or the treats, that's what I wanna know.
Doesn't matter. Dave was gonna bring chocolate cake and failed.
Dave,
Way to go, Dave.
way to go, Dave.
I know it.
He's sorry.
He's not. Known him long enough.
No, he probably ate it on the way to town.
It was really good.
You think we at least got a donut, right? Basically, the last page shows that everything's in balance and I don't have any other thing to report unless you have a question. And if you do, I might have to go find the answer to it.
We like it when it's in balance, you know
Me
that.
too.
So,
Me too.
those are usually the questions I have.
Is that
If it's not.
Computer, like, does it do that every day? Is this report, based on the information, is it something you could just
We can run,
hit the brick button and get this on a
we
daily
can run it on a
basis?
daily, yes.
So you know every day whether or not. it's
Every time we
balanced,
look at it, we
everything.
can, yeah. And we do look at it several times a month to make sure that we're where we need to be. It's easier to catch it,
Right,
you know, if we can break it down to a few days rather than a month or more.
right. So anything that jumped out, I guess, since you do this semi-annually, that compared to other years that was substantially different or
No.
no?
And most of it I really wouldn't know because these are like secondary roads, the jail, you know, all that kind of stuff. They give us the money and we put it exactly where they tell us.
It'd be nice having the jail done. I'm like, what, a year left? 2 years left?
Not even sure on that. Again, they just,
All right, Terry.
Yeah, this year we'll make
This
our
year.
final payment.
That'll be nice.
Or what is that final payment? Just got
About
it.
150,000.
Okay, all right.
Approximately.
All right.
So what's the cabinet fund special? On the front page,
That is-
0029.
Out of conservation.
yeah, that would just be.
That's what I assumed it was that conservation. They're to build the future cabins, would you say?
Mhm.
More to come. All right. Any other questions before I call the vote?
We actually made a special, there was some stuff in my ag meeting out there. And they showed, somebody came in and talked about our parks across America. And Crawford County made it because of our cabins and stuff. We were on the slide.
That's cool.
Yes.
Those are very
I
nice.
thought that was pretty dang cool too.
We try to get one of those on the 4th of July.
It was just showing great ideas across the park service.
Plan ahead, Gene.
Huh?
Plan ahead.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know where I'm gonna be.
Two or three years.
Yeah, yeah. Do we have a motion to
So
approve?
So moved.
Second,
Any further discussion? Otherwise, I'll call the vote. All in favor, aye.
aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Chair votes aye. We have approved your, thank you, Terry. Appreciate it. All right, I see Jake is here, so we'll go down to the land management agreement with Pheasants Forever. Come on up, Jake and John. Good morning. One full chair up.
Welcome to the party.
How's it going?
Maybe I need 2 chairs on rollers.
All right. Jake, how are you? Good.
So I'm Josh Lane, one of those two know me, but,
Josh and Jake.
yep.
No, you won't.
We're president, vice president, Pheasants Forever, and I know, we just know that at one point, KR, I think, had made an agreement with you guys on some of the CRP, like A Hart Rudd and a couple other, he's no longer on the board, and we just kind of want to know what our agreement is in place, because I know we got some funds from you guys recently, and we
want to make
just
sure
kind of
that
like,
keeps going.
yeah, we're just like, what is this coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah, we just
What
want
do
to know
have
what
to
we
do
have
to
in
keep it coming,
place.
right?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's just start with, and then we've got a couple other things.
Get our foot in the door and make sure we're in good graces with you guys, so that we
Yeah.
can help so much way. We know the county home's going into CRP this
Yeah,
fall,
well-
and we kind of want to help out with that since it'll hopefully be public hunting and access, so that's kind of what we're all about,
All
so.
right, perfect. All right.
So any questions, I guess, did you guys have a copy of the old land management agreement? Did you guys see that or not?
That's what we were looking at on. Yeah,
Last meeting. So
so
we have it.
Jill has
Yep.
one.
I just sent it to her recently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I came up and signed it, but I never actually, I don't think I.
Then, yeah, oh, okay, yeah, probably not, it's hard to
It's
say.
one of those.
I do have
Right, your
some
signature
copies.
is on it.
Yeah,
Signature on
Is
it.
that renewed every year?
Yes,
and I think it auto renews.
Yeah,
I mean-
unless there's a discussion about changing something, then it just stays active. Do you,
and it's for
You guys want
80.37
do you have a
acres.
copy?
Oh, that's.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, that'll change a little bit. Did we used to get some from the county home and now that'll change? Is that part of the discussion or are they three separate properties? I forget. Like I said, KR managed a lot of this stuff for us.
Right.
He kind of left. He just kind of disappeared into the shadows and left us figuring stuff out for ourselves. And so
If you
we're still
look,
figuring stuff out.
when Terry sent us a copy of this, agreement, and I knew it was gonna be on the agenda today. So I thought I should certainly read through it, and I forwarded it on to the other supervisors, just so they had a chance to read through it before the meeting. And when I read the paragraph underneath the legal description on the first page, and it says that, you know, the term of this land management agreement shall be from the first day of March to the last day of February, and shall automatically renew annually under the same terms until September 30th, 2023, unless either party to this LMA provides the other no later than August 31st of any given year with written notice of intention not to renew the LMA for the following year. In such event, this LMA shall terminate on September 30th of the year in which it is written notice of intent is given. And in any event, this lease shall terminate not later than September 30th, 2024. And when I saw that last sentence, in any event, this lease shall terminate not later than September 30th, 2024. I sent it to the county attorney and I said, hey, that doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why that's in there. Because to me, it looks like, hey, it's gonna terminate on September 30th,
It does.
2024. And so he's like, hey, Craig, I can clean up the writing. So he did. And he just sent that to me this morning, and I had Jake while he was here. That's what I had him print me off a copy. Cause I thought that since you guys are here, we should at least get it signed today, so
That's
that,
not on for action.
what's that?
It's not on for action.
Okay,
It's just a discussion item.
gotcha.
Okay,
Alright, so we won't be able to sign it today.
no,
I just figured there wasn't.
Right, you didn't know none of this, I didn't know I was gonna get a response from Colin, I just said, hey, look at this, and tell me if I'm reading it wrong.
Well, we
Just-
definitely want to keep going forward.
Right.
We just wanted to know what.
And I told him, I said, well, we wanted to just have this so that it just says that we have an agreement, it's gonna continue unless somebody notifies the other one, it goes on forever.
it makes no sense to have it stop September
Right.
24.
It did.
The first paragraph says it goes on forever.
Right,
So we can put it on next week.
Yeah, so we'll have to do that next week, get it authorized for everybody.
And then if
to
you do,
sign.
then I can stop up
And
sometime.
then it will go
and sign
on
Yeah.
until somebody
yeah, you won't have to be here, you can just come on and sign it.
will approve it,
Okay.
come sign it anytime.
So just wanna make everybody aware of that, cause that's what we want it to be too, just so that it continues on and on.
Yeah,
And,
We're looking for it, yep. Try
right.
to keep it going if we can and help out where we can, so.
Absolutely, we appreciate that very much.
So the legals included in this do not include the Ahart Rudd property. If you want it to, it should be added.
So,
Yeah, we don't even, I don't even know what a couple of these are.
Well, let's.
So I put maps on the back 2 pages. The one is the county farm, the biggest one.
Okay, yeah.
It's like 7
And that's-
parcels.
Changing, correct? That's all going to CRP after this?
Yeah,
All, correct?
majority of it, yes.
That's what I thought, yeah.
yeah.
So then we.
And then this is the Stockholm property up by the,
the-
up
Ice
by
out
the
there, right?
ice, yeah.
The one that we
just
purchased
bought
and
not
then
too long
donated
ago.
to.
Yeah,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
that's what that is.
And then-
So that's how I know that the
So
AR
that-
Rudd is
Does
not
it include
included.
80-some acres? I mean, that's what I think is
Yeah, I
handwritten
think
on
so.
the original.
80.37.
Yeah, that's what it says on
And then you
here.
heard it.
Well, then we'll need to update it to include the legals of the acre property.
Right.
So as long as we're doing it, let's get it done right.
Right.
I was gonna say, and then what? Cause that'll include more CRP for the county home then, so will that change as well then? I guess I don't even know how that works since it's mostly going into CRP compared to what it was before, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And then we were discussing that too, is that
you guys need help with.
Yeah, we wanna
whatever.
help with seat cost. I don't know what program, I know there's different CRP programs, which one it's going into. If there's food plots or something, we'd be happy to help provide seed for that. You know, maybe throw a couple of Pheasants Forever signs out there, you know, whatever, but
Part of that too, Craig, is we have to, you know, for management of the CRP, mow it.
or burn it
Burn
probably,
it.
yeah. So there'll be halfway through the contract, you'll have to do some sort of mid-contract
Right.
management. We have, some burn equipment that we would be happy, you know, to help with. The guys that,
Yes.
the guys that are on it that do it, you know, Randy Coleman has kind of headed that for us last few years. He's getting older, as we all know, so I don't know how long he's gonna be wanting to go burn something that big, but he's definitely helped. But we have some of burn equipment, the fire department helps us with some, so if maybe us in the fire department, when it comes time, if they want to burn it, you know, we'd be happy to help with that as well, so we're.
And especially if you need food plot mix or something like that, that we have a drill in Mr. Coolman who takes care for us and put food plots in and whatnot. So if it's something that's part of the contract, you know, let us know if we can help that way as well, so.
I mean, you can see that, in the agreement, it has responsibilities of the manager. The manager is you, Pheasants Forever. And it just says that the manager shall undertake the general care and husbandry of the property, which is the subject of this land management agreement. In accordance with the land use management plan as adopted for the property by Crawford County Conservation Board. Manager shall remove all existing trees from the portion of the property enrolled in the CRP. Manager shall provide weed control and shall mow and bale as necessary as directed by the owner, which is us. For the portion of the property enrolled in CRP, manager shall provide seed for seeding as necessary and as directed by owner. Manager shall comply with all requirements of the CRP. Manager shall cooperate with owner for the reasonable undertaking of general care and husbandry of the property.
Okay.
So at least there's some stuff there dictated that
Okay.
you guys know exactly.
So,
what
you know,
have
when
to
this gets seeded, we're definitely, those first couple of years, probably gonna have to do some more mowing, you know, to get it established and stuff.
Right.
So I'm assuming then we just, well, we normally.
And I guess we'll have to let
It's
you know, you're
hired
right, I don't remember the type of CRP that we are enrolled in, because you're right, there are different types of CRP.
Yeah.
I don't remember. So I have to.
And either
I
way,
probably-
all of them are, you know, all of them, you know, those first couple of years, you know, it's gonna be a weedy mess and you have to mow it a couple times and stuff. So I'm assuming we'll just hire somebody. So is that, so then does that work? Is there a sponsor then too with it as well? Somebody that, I know like on A Hart Rut, it's like Jerry Bruce Jr.
So that's changes.
This, I mean, it's gonna be a Von Glon, I don't remember his first name.
Clint, maybe?
Clint is gonna be the sign on the new CRP at the county farm.
Okay,
His name's gonna be that one.
okay.
We're trying, and it's quite the process, but would like to have it. Yes, person's name on there to be a 501c3 organization or that type of, and it's harder than what we thought.
The process that they do this is terrible. We're running into it. So I work for NRCS in Ida County and they got, Crawford Creek and then, Richard Smith owns some ground next to it. He sold it to them and they're buying it and there's some CRP there and trying to get who can get the payment there. The government makes it way too hard. And why can't Conservation Board put it in and get the payment and just have it be done? That drives me nuts.
Yeah.
But that is I guess you're
Yeah.
fully aware of the rule
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So really, Craig, then outside of updating this to add A Hart Run,
That's it.
move forward next week.
Well, then take out that word.
And Colin took that out. I just didn't tell him anything.
So if we get that legal to Colin, he could add it.
Yeah,
Okay, we can do that. I'll ask Mary then.
exactly.
Then will we have
Yeah,
to change
them
the
legal.
total amount of acres, or is this
Right,
80,
probably.
Right.
37?
Well, that's a good point, Gene. I don't know if that includes those two legals that are listed plus the Ahart property,
Right,
or if it does not include the Ahart property. I would guess that it does include the Ahart property, but the legals not on.
So, well, I would think that would probably, how many acres are you putting in at the county
The
home?
county farm would be way.
It's gonna be
more.
100 and.
Yeah.
20
it's
So
gonna
then
be
that'll
way
go
more
up
at that.
considerable
Oh,
amount,
that's
you know what I
not-
mean? That'll probably almost double.
I mean, is that
Should we
legal?
note the changes that are coming or
Yes.
and when they're coming, or how do we, I don't know how to address that. Well, maybe we'll send
Maybe you probably
something
have to
to,
get it,
maybe
Well,
we'll have
maybe
to
we'll,
renew it
actually
again after
filed
the
here.
changes happen.
so your contract for the CRP probably starts in October, would be my guess.
right,
This year?
Yeah, yeah, and then it'll be seeded in the spring.
yes. Cause we had to have it in by March, to
Yep.
get it started October.
Yep, yep.
Says more or less, so.
Can we find out from
Leaves it open.
what the acres are gonna be?
Get a little bit closer
Yeah.
maybe, to the
Update
more
that
or
all
less.
at once.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably
Because,
working
yeah,
on the
that
contract.
kinda happens when this is set to expire anyway,
Yeah,
or terminate,
Maybe
so
that's-
maybe, yeah.
All the same time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a good thing we're reviewing it all and getting the changes done and
Look at
get
us.
it all signed. Look at you guys on our agenda.
happy accident, right?
Right. On top of it, then you do.
It's kind of the way it rolls, so it's all, we're used
It's
to
okay
this.
when that happens by
Yeah.
accident.
Kinda gotta.
Okay, so that's, I'm glad we signed it, cause I mean, when I came up, I signed it, I probably didn't read it like I should have. So yeah, then that's a good thing that we know that we're responsible for doing the mowing and some of the maintenance out there.
I know I paid for tree removal not too long ago, and I think that one of our checks was kind of, that amount was taken out of our payment because of the maintenance side of stuff that we had done. I don't even know if the county took care of it for us and we reimbursed them or how it all worked, but.
Right, we paid about $16,000 for tree removal,
Yeah, we-
what, 3 years ago maybe?
We
Has it
paid
been that
5,000
soon? I
and
can't remember.
5,000
Probably
and
before I was
possibly
even-
5,000.
When I was on the board, I remember doing it.
Yeah,
Craig, you have a contract with CRP.
Seemed like it was pretty early on.
I think we
About 3 years
I
ago.
think we paid 5,000 like 2 years in a row.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think we're, yeah, ready to get back to the regular
Yep.
schedule of,
Yeah, I think we reimbursed.
and I don't remember if this one was included,
I'm sure it's
I don't
spelled out in
remember,
the
I'd have to look
contract
at my
when
notes, hopefully I
Yes.
wrote
Yeah,
some
it's
down.
supposed to happen.
The conservation plan will have some of that and. But I don't know, we're probably technically not on that.
We got one?
I'm sure they have one out there.
Yeah, they will.
Eventually you should get one.
And I-
Yeah.
Probably haven't signed it yet, have you, or have you?
I don't think we've
For
signed
the
it,
new,
right, till.
I don't know.
When do you sign? I've never.
Right now, so they probably, you said you agreed that you want to do it, they're probably working on the plan and stuff right now, and they should be, I would think, anytime getting, that we're doing them right now, so we've been working on, them. So I would assume that.
I assume that me and Kyle will get a phone call.
I
Or
would
you
think.
can call it, or we'll get a letter here. to
Hey,
county
you guys
for it.
having a copy of that contract, so you know when some of those management things need to be done.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Try to keep up with it.
yeah,
We'll get
especially
these
something new like
changes to
that.
our attorney and get it, a little bit more user friendly for you and get it approved at our next meeting. So make sure you have that on the agenda to discuss and take action. And then we'll.
Yeah, we might have to wait if we don't get, I guess, clarification as to what the
Right,
new
it might be a week or two.
CRP,
maybe.
you know, if that's not
Right.
coming out until, October, you said you're starting to get notification now from people that are getting them.
So like my employee, he's been working on writing the contracts and doing the conservation plan, the maps and stuff, and then he sends them back to FSA and they have the people come in and sign. So there are probably people signing right now for them.
So we might wanna wait till then, just so
Yeah.
that we can add that, let that property to the contract.
Yeah, I mean, if you have my phone number, just whenever, just call me on stuff.
I think we need to have it all done for September 30th of 2024 though, so there is a.
Once that
Do I have your phone?
done.
And all we'd be waiting on is FSA.
8804, yeah.
We've waited on
That's
that.
federal.
Yes.
Be longer.
You're not wrong, trust me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's,
We're used to waiting on things, so, we're very.
Always a hurry up and wait process.
It is,
Never-
it absolutely is.
We
And
did.
we-
the lady that's in charge of it now used to work up here though,
They're
right?
the worst.
The CRP, I think.
Oh, yeah, Rachel?
No,
Or,
Rachel's down in Shelby.
Oh, that's
I
right.
think she's in the process of applying for Crawford and Ida though. To be in
Oh,
charge of,
Leslie's position?
yeah,
Yeah.
but, I think it's her name that worked.
Oh, Lisa Gallagher.
Lisa Gallagher, yeah.
She's-
Yeah, that's right.
I think she does CRP.
Yeah.
Cool.
Where'd you guys work with Lisa?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right,
Awesome.
The changes have been noted, our attorney has been notified, so we'll give you a call when we have everything
Something else that we wanted to bring up while we were here that we've noticed is becoming an issue, sort of an issue, and might be becoming more of one in the future. I don't know if you guys are aware that in 2010, the state passed a law that mowing road ditches, you have to wait until mowing and baling them after July 15th. So the DNR posted something with the code, and then we just copied and pasted and put it on our Facebook page this year, just to make people aware. And it just blew up. We did not realize that we would have that much kickback from it. People are going nuts. Then I started doing a little research. There's a few other counties like Woodbury and stuff. They've started to make people come in and sign an agreement if they're going to mow and bale their road ditches. So basically as a note to, hey, you have to wait till July 15th. Because we were getting texts and calls and who do we get a hold of? Because people were before July 15th all over. And it's,
That was in June.
yeah, so it's, and it's kind of weird. I don't know where they came up with the July 15th date because the primary nesting season is May 15th to August 1st. So maybe they just thought that was a happy medium. There's no, the state doesn't really enforce anything. And there was, so I did some research. Hardin County was thinking about putting a penalty in, and then they decided, their supervisors were thinking about it, they decided not to. But a lot of them have gone to, they make them sign, so this is the code. I don't know if you guys have ever are aware of it or ever looked at it. But a lot of them are going to make, basically, they just have to come up and sign a thing, say, hey, we're gonna mow the road ditch, they sign it. And then it says you have to wait till after July 15th. I think, with commodity prices and price of land and people are pushing in their, their fence lines and their woolly ditches and stuff. I think the wildlife people, this is starting to become more of an issue and they're gonna start pressing it. So it might be something better to get in front of rather than be behind on. I don't,
Did you say it was the DOT that enforces it too, if you wanted to call somebody in or you wanted to report it?
No, there's not really, they don't really have an
Anybody that
enforcement.
enforces it.
It's more of an educational thing, but a lot of the counties, I know Woodbury was one of them, they have, a deal where you have to, I can't even write. That just something that we wanted to bring to your guys' attention that and it wasn't just like wildlife people that were reaching out to us, it was a lot of farmers that they know about it, they wait till July 15th and then they see other people out there that are doing it before. And then they were messaging us and they're pissed off, who do we get a hold of? And I'm like, oh wow, I did not know that this was going to turn into as big of a deal.
Like, and maybe we need more of a, media campaign or on our website to
And so I think,
know that.
Informant, yeah, I think that's the biggest part.
Right.
And it's probably not such a big deal if they're just mowing like shoulders back for visibility.
So,
if they
and
were to come
and
out.
like
It's
in
guys
and that it
mow
talks about if you're
all of it
within,
and bail it.
if you're within so far of your residence, you
200
can,
yards.
they've got that all written in
They
there.
do, except for the 8 different,
Which, knowing farmers, I could see,
Control of insects,
Kickback.
noxious weeds.
Yeah,
you want me to come in and sign an agreement to mail my own
Bill
ditch?
my own dishes.
yeah.
But it's, I mean,
That ain't gonna fly.
technically, some of it's a right of way, like,
Yeah,
if you
it's
drive
like,
Farland right now, everything from the Defiance Turtle.
Well, they own.
Half
yeah,
Farland mow that. Everybody mows that. the
So then
140
like part of it
road.
was too, if it wasn't your
They
road
waited till
ditch,
15.
they wanted you to get have written permission from somebody else. That's in some of it, so
How does that work then? If it's right away, but yet you own to the center of the road, who are you getting permission from? You getting permission
So-
from
That's
the
what
county,
What is the
state,
punishment?
the
See, that's the hard
See,
part.
that's the thing, is they don't
there's
really have
no
them. So there was
enforceable way
some-
about it. Yeah.
So Hardin, and then there was one other one, I couldn't find it when I had found it one time and I couldn't find it again. They were talking about and putting a punishment like $100 fine or something, and I'm not saying that we need to do that, but I definitely think going towards getting it out there, letting people know, because I think that there's probably gonna be some wildlife groups and stuff that eventually are probably gonna start pushing this issue a lot harder than we are, now.
That's just one of Doug's forever big things has always been, if there's habitat, there's fence. And if we're taking away small habitat roadside ditches, it's just harder to keep our numbers.
So,
where
for
they're
example,
at.
I've got Woodbury's up. Mowing within Woodbury County right of way requires a permit from the Woodbury County Secondary Road Department. The permit assures that you are aware of the law surrounding the roadside mowing, that you're not trespassing on a neighbor's property. since most of the county roads are located within county road easements adjacent to landowners. The adjacent landowners have the first rights to mow their right of way adjacent to their property since they still have the underlying ownership. If you wish to mow outside of the area of frontage to your own property, you must bring in a letter of permission from the adjacent landowner to the county engineer's office with your permit application. Bales must be removed from the right of way within 24 to 48 hours so that they're not creating a hazard on the road to vehicles. That's what Woodbury has done. I just,
I mean, most of it I would think would just be along the highway. I can't think of, I don't know if any road ditches that other farmers do out in the country.
there's
Gravel roads that.
a lot of them do it. Oh, yeah.
Really?
That's-
Road
these-
ditches.
oh, yeah.
fail?
Yeah, you see people, they'll rake it onto the gravel road and they'll bail it right up off the gravel road. Oh, that happens a
A lot of
lot.
our ditches are too steep to.
Better than
Right.
breathing
What's that?
around our ditches.
Then, right, well, there's some too that have their electric fence right on the gravel.
Would not include people taking a bush hog and mowing alongside the shoulder of the road. We have farmers that do that certainly prior to July 15th. Just from, I think, right away or right away
Yeah.
out, just to see type
That's
of
what
thing.
I think some of that's for the
Right.
animals
That-
coming out, so you got a little more of a warning, which probably isn't a big thing, but
No,
like
I
you're
don't
saying,
think
it's the
that would-
guys that mow it all and bale it all and.
Yeah, and
way to
and it
go.
kinda, their code kinda has some of that in there. We were not expecting, when we posted it to our Facebook page, just to let people know, we're not expecting, and we had people blowing up the Facebook page, our personal phones, like, what can we do, who can we get a hold of? And I'm like,
Interesting though, the state
Once
passes
it-
this and they don't have no way of enforcing it.
right.
And
Yeah,
it's a feel good.
yeah.
Typical.
So this one was the one where Hardin County, they didn't end up doing it, but what they were thinking, they had brought it and they must have got voted down or something, but it was any violation of this shall be a county infraction, which is punishable by a civil penalty, not more than $100 for each violation, or the infraction of a repeat civil penalty exceeding 200 for repeat offenders. And I'm not saying that we need to even go into anything like that, but I have a feeling as, the CRP prices necessarily aren't the greatest. We're not gaining wildlife habitat really. So what we do have for these nesting animals, and then if people are out there bailing and mowing them, there's gonna start to be more and more pushback, I have a
It
feeling.
just gained 120 acres.
I agree. I know.
Next
But-
question.
In the next 2 years, there's gonna be a ton that come out, and I don't think it's gonna get renewed because
Right.
the price isn't the most lucrative, and you get cash rent for 400 plus. So something to think about, and
We wanted to bring it to your attention.
Right.
Thank you very much.
I think to start with, we need to maybe do a more intensive informational drive than.
right, yeah,
Well, like we
100%.
said, we put it.
That's
out there.
that's all we were trying to do.
Just
and
gotta
then,
Go mail it before July 15th.
We got.
But then it goes back to that, even if we did do an ordinance, then we're like the state, we don't wanna not be able to enforce it. So
You
you
have
gotta
to have
figure out.
somebody enforce
You have
it,
to do that, and I'm not saying I
whether
wanna
it's
go
the
down
weed
that road at all,
commissioner or somebody like that.
Right.
I know the one was,
Put at least
The
a
county
county on your door
engineer.
saying, hey, don't do that, but.
yeah,
We've had a few guys that have, I don't know if they've confronted them personally or what, but there's been a few that it sounds like they've already, well, we told so-and-so they can't do that, blah, 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 and I'm like, oh geez, don't be getting yourselves in
Yeah.
trouble that way either, but. The next thing will be is $100 if that farmer thinks, so I can make more than $100 in bail, I'm gonna bail
Right,
anyway,
right.
it's not gonna stop you, so.
I just noticed like this year between Ida Grove and Odebo on along the highway, somebody came and bailed at all, like the 1st of June,
Drive a harm,
so.
there's about a 3-foot piece of grass halfway there.
But they but
He
they-
did wait till after the 15th.
So, yeah, and that's
But
fine,
It's all
but
mowed.
we just wanted to bring that to your guys' attention, that's
Appreciate
the
that.
thing.
No.
That-
Glad you came. Thank you.
Cause we're just trying to help, and then but I just have a feeling that as this goes, there's probably gonna be people that get a little more pissy and push that shoes harder. We know how that goes.
We do. We do. So.
Yeah, well, other than that, I don't think we have anything else.
Nope, like I said, I just wanted to
Yes.
figure out the contract side of stuff, cause that
Yeah, we just got a couple checks and we're like, oh, what are these for?
Well, we did the right thing by coming up and we all had, learned a little bit here and, can make some adjustments and,
Yep.
we'll be in touch with you. Thank you for all you do. We really
Yeah, and
appreciate
then
it.
when you guys do get that taken care of, I can swing up anytime and sign it again, so it's not an issue.
You got his number?
Yep.
All right.
All right,
Thanks for coming in, guys.
yes, thank you.
Got your number. All right, thank you
Thanks,
very much. Didn't have to wait till the very end, so you'll have a good day. All right. Back on our agenda. So we are on discuss and take a resolution for an inter-fund transfer to secondary road fund.
So all this resolution does is, state what Iowa code says is the levy that can be transferred from the general basic into, secondary road and from rural basic into secondary road. The first one, general to secondary roads, is 16.875 per $1,000 of taxable value. The rural services fund to secondary roads is, $3, less than 3 cents. 3.00375 is the, amount.
Is it something we have to do every year?
Yeah, it's just a thing we do every year. It states what that dollar amount is, and that all, just so you know, it matches what is in the budget currently. But it's just one of those bookkeeping things that.
Yeah, in the budget, Iowa code requires it, so who
Yeah.
among us wants
All
to?
right, so move.
Second.
Any further discussion on the resolution? Otherwise, I'll call the vote. Ty?
Aye.
Dave? Greg?
All right,
Chair votes aye. Go ahead and transfer the funds. Terry, thank you. Then we had a resignation from Eugene Garrett as Paradise Township Clerk, but right below it, we would be appointing somebody new. So who wants to make a motion to accept that resignation?
moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Call the vote. All in favor, aye.
all right.
Any opposed, same sign. Chair votes aye. We accepted Gene's resignation. We're going to appoint Ryan Bodker as the clerk and Connor Garrett as
My
trustee.
pen is smoking slow. Keep down a second.
Just because Kyle's not here to tell me to keep it moving.
Down
All
a second.
right. All right, please. You got it.
Keep your right eye on what she's.
Take a breath and
doing. That's
sign
what
some stuff.
All right.
If she's writing, we might be too
All
far
right,
ahead.
I will slow her down.
Sorry,
You
I
just.
don't like to discourage progress, but.
Well, it's just not like.
We're telling Kyle you slowed us
God
down.
knows. Yeah, he wished me well at the meeting alone tomorrow. I know, I'll need all the prayers I can get.
Right.
Garrett, trustee. Yeah, so we're gonna be appointing a clerk and a trustee, so
Looks like it.
that's good.
I signed the front end of that. That shot is over.
I feel like there's still one more position. Tim Houston was a trustee on this.
Oh,
So I feel like there's one more, but I know his is on the ballot. So we like to have a name go on the ballot, so
okay.
we're hoping to make an appointment and then also then have them be on the ballot, whoever that person is. But we always get that info from the trustees.
What is in this room today?
Of
There
a
is.
suggestion, I know sometimes in this building you get to sneeze in like.
Who has on a different cologne today?
Not me. I didn't even feel on you.
Okay, whenever you'd like to begin, I'm
So
sorry.
I move we approve the appointment of Ryan Bodker as clerk and Connor Garrett as trustee.
Is she ready?
Township. Yes.
All right, very good.
I second it.
All right, very good. Thank you, Ty. Any further discussion? There's a call vote. All in favor? Aye.
All right,
Any opposed, same sign. Chair votes aye. We can clerk and then new trustee. Thank you for volunteering. All right. Whenever you're ready, Madam Auditor, I will move on.
Oh.
Yeah, getting rid of the
Did y'all
birds.
approve this?
Yes.
Did
Yes.
you read it though? Did you? Don't just approve it. Please don't just approve it.
yeah,
Crazy.
It's insane.
okay. All right.
A lot.
What are other options?
Scarecrow?
Supervisors take shifts with, a bottle of rockets. See, she liked that one.
I guess when we have a problem and we look at the solution and it comes in and it's not what we want, then we have to have another option for what to do because it's a problem.
Don't you, because they're endangered bird?
They're endangered birds since the 1918 Migratory Bird Act.
How insane is
Nineteen
that?
eighteen,
Yes.
Sure don't look like there's an absence of them when you look up.
No. In order to, you have to get a permit from the US Fish and Wildlife to shoot them.
And you said,
You can get one because the city of Atlantic does.
and then they shoot one and they hang one up there?
They get the fire department and they hang them after they're dead.
Can we do that?
If we, the person in Atlantic, the deputy that I talked to, said that if that's the route you go,
see it, Ty?
one, you have to try many things to get that US Fish and Wildlife permit for them to okay it. It's like, okay, you've tried this, you've tried this, you've tried this, that doesn't work, fine, go ahead and shoot them. Perry, the town of Perry, they don't shoot them, they wait until they're either have an area resident that says, hey, one died or one is injured, then they
Put it out of its misery.
yes, thank you. They put it out of its misery and take those and hang them. Then they have the Perry Fire Department with their big ladders hang them wherever they got.
Feed up when we see them feeding on a carcass.
Right, right. That's how the Perry gets them. They don't go through the application process to shoot them. Atlantic does.
Anybody want to volunteer?
So you can actually purchase fake ones that they hang upside down.
Maybe we should try that.
Those are just, I think they were $80 a piece or something.
You gotta put scent on them or anything?
I don't know. I don't know how well those work. I've asked the people in Atlantic, have you ever tried? They go, oh, no, that makes sense though. But no, we haven't tried that. So I haven't talked to anybody that has tried that using fake vultures to hang upside down and if it worked. I don't know.
Well,
But for 20 grand, I mean,
I think we should try a few of those,
there's no guarantee that the 20 grand, there's no guarantee, right?
no.
Just says, hey, this'll hopefully help alleviate your problem. And I don't know if that,
I thought it was
Are
a
you looking up
lot.
the fake
I thought it was
ones?
ungodly money.
Since she was talking,
Yeah,
she
just
used our
And the
research.
tower, the
Somebody's
picture that you sent, that's just the picture of the tower. That's not like the picture of the tower after they would do what they did.
No, that's our tower.
Right, that's just our tower.
Yeah, he wanted to know what was up on our tower. So I went over across the street and took a couple pictures and sent them to him.
I mean,
For a lot of car washes.
Yeah. I would be in favor of trying a fake one until we can find one laying on the road we can hang.
And is it a seasonal problem? Is
It
it?
certainly is a seasonal problem.
Absolutely.
I don't know, because I haven't heard anything from chief since that first, I don't even know when it was it
So
2
he
months
hasn't got
ago?
back to you,
Uh-uh,
said anything?
Probably is if their migratory bird they come through and
right.
causing problems. for them.
Springtime, they're, doing their
Hey,
thing.
what do you got, time? Research is done.
Effigies
Effigies, right? That's what they're called.
are extremely effective at deterring black vultures from using an area if properly displayed.
Okay,
Effigies need to be hung high enough to be seen from a distance. Effigies should be displayed by hanging the bird upside down by their feet, with the wings spread to be most effective. And I think we should probably alert the residents that we're not hanging live birds on the tower.
is there a picture?
No.
Oh, shoot.
I wonder if those decoys, if they have wings that
That's why,
open.
that's why I wanted to see if there was. a
You know what I
picture
mean,
with
the
the wings
decoy you
out.
buy.
Get on Amazon, right there they are.
Does it have wings that go?
Is it $80?
How much?
$73 on Amazon. No, that don't
We
say
got
anything
Prime,
about,
then it's.
don't
no
say anything about shipping.
so-
Tax. Oh, we don't have.
Okay,
we don't
we
tax.
need
We don't
more
put
than
tax
one.
exempt.
will one be effective or will we need to have a couple of them?
I would think you're gonna need more than one.
I was gonna say
If
that.
it's on the tower, I'd use more than one.
All right,
One of those communities did say is that, you know, you want them gone from this place. So you hang the effigy and now they end up at a different place in town. Now you have other people complaining because they never used to have the birds and now they got the bird. So then he said, then we gotta put some there until they finally end up at a place that nobody's complaining.
Well, who do we get to
Well, then it
crawl up
become
there
the
and put this
city's
after we have-
problem, not ours.
Well,
We
the
draw
fire
straws.
department,
First
I
one to
volunteer,
ask,
Dave.
that's who.
I volunteer to go to the door.
I think it's an IT thing.
There we go.
That'd be entertaining.
I'm
But you're
surprised we
probably
thought
charging
they owned us because they don't have that much longer left.
Favor the bird.
I would be in favor of that. Now, is there a discussion that we can go a different, or is it just to approve this one? Just to approve
Discuss
that.
and take
So I have
action.
you know that I just Googled that, so it's on the internet, so it's gotta be true. In fact,
Well,
Well,
Yeah.
it's still an alternative that I think is crazy.
that's crazy.
I mean, I can't believe a taxpayer would say, hey, glad you paid.
Good job.
20 grand to get rid of a bird when you could have.
And now they're landing on it.
and not try something else first.
Right.
Too bad Eric's not here to give away the car wash tokens. That would be a concern.
Well, I
I
say we
think he's selling it.
take no action on the Plunkett.
Right.
Right, all right, no action. But I.
You know, that's, I did learn this. Postpone indefinitely or postpone until we decide whether or not we need to do something alternative. That's how you're supposed to put that motion and then vote it.
This
That's what I
is
learned by
invited
Robert
south.
Fruit class.
What now?
This is their year-round
Peggy was-
residents in most of their range, but they migrate south from the northern part of their range during cold and winter months. So you were asking about seasonal.
What is their
Some
range?
birds stay year-round and only move south, pushed by extreme weather fronts.
What is their range? Does it have?
It does not, I don't see
They
that.
circle a pretty good distance each day, so.
All right, so
Okay.
the motion was then to.
Postpone,
You wanna make that the official?
yeah, since you didn't actually repeat it, we can
I did
actually
not.
change it. Make a motion to postpone,
Absolutely.
postpone purchase of Plunkett's. How would we word that? Postpone Plunkett's,
Indefinitely.
well, you could say indefinitely or until we would like to review it again.
Okay, all right.
I mean, I will say that, and that's why I thought,
After trying more.
Here's-
effectively.
Terry,
Yes,
picture of our tower.
yes. Oh, so came up.
That is a picture of our tower.
It is.
And I got that from a company called Bird Barrier. And
Robert's all the time.
they, because I initially inferred about, hey, we have this problem, and he came back and said, is it this tower? I said, it's the tower, and I reported it. I said, yes, that is our tower, and you can see, thank you, Craig, it is the tower behind the Crawford County Courthouse, correct? And I said, yes, and then he sent me this a couple days later, and it says, thank you, Craig, this is in the works. And so
Oh.
that made me think, this was clear back in June though, that made me think that, oh, the sheriff or the PD or somebody is in contact with them also.
What?
So that's when I kind of dropped off the, you know, as
Oh,
far as,
yeah.
They're already doing something.
well, like I
Can you
said,
share that with me and I'll
yes,
infer more?
Who'd you get a hold of though?
I got a hold of Bird Barrier.
Do some digging.
Were they on it?
Postpone Plunkett proposal until,
Until,
This guy's out of
We've tried
Carson,
to-
California.
Oh,
until after trying a few more cost-effective means, or until which time we deem it necessary to contact them. Does that sound efficient? Sounds like
Say
a
it
lot
again.
of gibberish.
I got to after trying. You kept talking, talk slower. I know that's hard,
So my
but talk
wife says-
slower.
and longer.
Until after a time of which we've try to alternative, that's a lot of work, verbiage. It sounds like I made up that motion, doesn't it?
After trying alternative
Meet
methods.
methods, or
Sorry.
to which time we deem it necessary to contact Plunkett's further.
Excellent motion. Does anyone want to second that?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? That's a call to vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Same sign. Chair votes aye. So we're
Able
going
was the
to,
most misused
we're going to postpone.
motion of the one.
Thank you for the excellent motion,
Everybody
Ty.
does that. And table, you have to take it up today yet.
What is table?
When you table something, you can, it's gotta be taken up yet today.
Oh. See, you're learning something.
Yeah.
Can you table it for
Very good. All right.
a month down the road? Can you put a time?
That's
frame on it?
interesting right there
Postpone.
too.
You can
I just
postpone
sent that on
it
to-
to
All right. Thank you.
until
I'll inquire and
our
find
meeting
out.
on.
Good job.
February.
What's,
All right.
yeah.
So the next discussion and take action is the Tenix Precinct Central touchpad budgetary
Or in depth.
proposal and
And that basically
contract.
throws it away.
So we've had that in our packet. Everybody's had a chance to review it. Any questions about that in particular?
Explained it. I'll make a motion to approve.
All right,
Second.
as presented. All right, any further discussion on that purchase? Otherwise, I'll take the vote. All in favor, aye.
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 Any opposed, same sign. Chair votes aye. That's been approved. And now we are to the discussion of establishing a compensation board. We had a discussion a week or so ago, gave us a chance to kind of talk to more folks and kind of get the consensus of the general feeling. And my thought is that people want to keep it. It's just a way to keep everything fair and kind of take the politics out of possible board of supervisors and gives everybody an option to have their own representation. Is kind of what I've been hearing over the last week. And what is anybody else's thoughts? We have a,
I actually think that it's a good idea to try it at least
Right.
continues because we've got the ability to maneuver now.
right,
And
right,
so that would, if we would start off where we're doing it, could create, well, they're picking on me or
correct,
the political
It
aspect.
gives us a starting point too.
Correct.
Yeah, and it gives it, and it always, and it never hurts to have, and I think that we actually advised the board, I mean, after last year's, I mean, you know, they really came back with a good review, so we know that they're invested in the process.
right.
And I think if we just say, hey, listen, I mean, we could probably give them an idea, the budget might be, like last year, we knew the budget was gonna be.
Can do better
And,
than-
you know, it's probably gonna be similar this year because it's an ongoing thing, so.
Yeah.
So I mean, if they come back with something a little more realistic instead of, all right, let's say 10,000 because we know they're gonna cut it at least in half. You know, let's really put some thought into it and give us what you're after. Maybe we'll be easier to get along with. But by the same token, you know, I mean, we gotta look at how our salaries are getting ahead of the rest of the community
Yeah,
too.
on top of
And that's what I think they need to take into
You
consideration.
think that's happening?
Just a few.
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying,
Oh,
we got.
okay. I was gonna
Just
say.
a few, just a few.
I'm just saying.
Okay, I get it.
You got it.
I get
All
it.
right.
That's why we want them to be able to look into it.
So along with
That's my
that,
theory.
they
Yes.
sent a resolution, kind of an example of one, and I think that we, kind of use that as our. plate
These are
for their
supposed to be members of the
Yeah, I think
community,
that fits the
so they would
need of
have a better
reestablishing.
Yeah.
feel.
Comp board.
Yeah,
It is my understanding that at any point in time, we could also, another board down the road could decide to do away with it. if
Do away
it's
with it.
not Working, so
We could do it in a couple of years ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
If we're here. So,
I don't have to send it to this initial.
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the resolution reestablishing the compensation board.
Okay.
okay.
Nope, so
In the resolution, you have to state which representatives are on the 4-year term, which are on the 2-year
Oh.
term.
You can't do that
that's
today.
right. I read
let's
that.
back up.
Can't?
And we can, until she reads it back, it's always until she reads back what the motion is, you can always adjust it.
Well,
Once
you're-
she does it, you gotta do an amendment.
you're-
Right, I mean, but-
So it's just a detail that is included in this
Right, it's
resolution.
included in the resolution is the wording, be it resolved that these people are gonna serve 2-year terms, these people are gonna serve 4-year terms.
Yeah,
Well, no, I think it's just, did I read it correct? We want, they gotta have them on alternate cycles, just like what this board is. So the first year, the initial start, we have a 2-year group and then there's a 4-year.
Here you have
I did, I wrote
Did
something
I
in,
understand that
but
right?
I kind of wondered after I did it, if we should have it follow when they're elected, when those positions are elected. So like the supervisors, they still have two.
Yeah.
But you're gonna probably want one a 4-year term and one a 2-year term.
Or covers both.
Right?
Starts out
Or
there.
are you gonna want them both coming up at the same time where you can reappoint both? And that's on you guys. It doesn't matter
That's
to
a
me.
good question.
I could see it both ways,
Well, I think
but
it's nice to have one that's done it before, that they're not both new at the same time,
Right.
is that, so I would see, you know. it's kind of nice to have
Staggering
that
them,
person.
having
If we
one.
did it and we're starting this next year, whoever's gonna be on the next cycle, like yours and Kyle's and Craig's cycle, that would be the 4-year people. No, Gene's and the ones that are on Gene and my cycle would be the 4 years. Yours will be 2. Because you still have 2 years before your cycle comes up. You see, is that what did I read that right? Because it won't be like they're permanently 2 years. It starts off as a 2
I think
year.
yours doesn't matter as much, because if you have one every time, it'll end up being every 2 years anyway,
But like,
right? But like
you're
Sherry,
only,
like,
you're only one office
Right.
that's on this one. And there's 2 on the other. I'm
2
talking
on the
about
other.
second floor.
No,
But you
what do
got,
mean? They only have one.
her and Colin.
They each have
you
one.
got Cullen this year.
Colin's not on the ballot.
No,
this year.
nobody's on the ballot from the second floor but her.
Me.
Right.
So there's you and Sarah and Cullen on the other, and then the sheriff's even on your cycle.
No,
No, sheriff's on-
No, sheriff's on your, yeah,
On
sheriff's
now.
this year.
It's a supervisor, the sheriff, and me.
2 supervisors, a sheriff and you, so there's 4 elected officials this year. And what would be on the
But
next?
that doesn't, you only get 2 representatives. You might have 5 elected officials. You only get 2 representatives.
We get,
And yeah, supervisor.
we get 2 because.
Right. So I guess it kind of doesn't matter, because one's a 2-year term and one's a 4-year term, and we're always elected for 4-year
Is it-
terms unless someone leaves in the middle of the term. So it doesn't matter how you.
Is it
organize
always a
this,
4-year? I mean, won't it eventually be to where they're all 4 years? I just can't imagine why we would have 2 and then.
Yeah, but the initial term
The first
is
term.
2 years and 4 years.
Yeah.
They're separated,
Right, I mean, in the resolution we're passing,
yes.
it actually states that whereas pursuant to this same code section, when the Board of Supervisors establishes a county compensation board, the compensation board shall be comprised of 7 members
Sorry.
who are residents of the county.
There you go.
2 members are appointed by the Board of Supervisors, 1 member each by the auditor, attorney, recorder, treasurer, and sheriff.
Yeah.
The members of the county compensation board shall not be officers or employees of the state
Yeah.
or political subdivision of the state, and shall serve staggered terms.
There
Whereas
you go,
lots,
staggered.
Yeah.
whereas lots were drawn to determine the duration of initial staggered terms for members of the county
Ah.
compensation
There you
board.
go.
Now therefore be it resolved, the county, Crawford County establishes a county compensation board for the county. And then it says, be it further resolved, the representatives of A, B, C, D shall serve the initial term of 4 years. The representatives of X, Y, Z shall serve an initial term of 2 years. So
Right.
to me, that 4 means the first 4 we named, supervisor, however in order that goes, auditor, attorney, recorder, that's the first 4. And then to me, that's the last 3. But if we have names of people, we can stick them in there in the resolution.
Right, it's probably easier to do it by the representative of supervisors, representative of the treasurer, you know what I mean? Cause
Have the staggered.
when you get a new auditor, they're not gonna want mine, maybe.
Right, and it says, whereas lots were drawn, so it's like they stuck in a hat and pulled out, I got a
Right.
2-year term, I
You
got a
can
4-year.
do that too. If that's what you wanna do.
But you, if, like, let's just say that you didn't, I mean, obviously nobody running against you, but if you didn't get elected and you already got your person established.
Yeah.
It would be by your position, they would just not use your person, you know, I
They would
don't know,
reappoint someone,
reappoint somebody for
and
that.
then they would continue
But it would
on
be, your
on the
position would
term,
be on your
whatever the
term.
remaining term is of
Exactly.
my,
It goes by the position. So-
yes.
Yeah, so that was what I would say is
Right.
this on XYZ,
Get the first 4,
it's, yeah,
and then I'd rather do that than draw out of a hat.
Right,
Yeah,
And I put some in there, but change them if you know what I mean, I just did something. And I think I grouped it by election cycles. You know, you get a supervisor, the county attorney, the treasurer, and the recorder are all elected in the same cycle. And then again, supervisor, sheriff, and auditor are elected in the same
Right, you got that
cycle.
spelled out here.
That's how I grouped it.
Okay.
But it doesn't have to be grouped that way, I'm just saying
But I think that
that.
makes sense.
Why is that important?
It's only just, what, grouping them in the same election cycle?
Having the 2 and 4 years is.
So they stagger, so they're all, we don't lose the whole compensation board in one. Cause they've always supposed to have
well,
had
this was
terms,
down here, so I
it's
didn't
just
see it
never
when I'm signing
been
here.
spelled out well. Yeah,
Same reason more staggered, that we don't have a whole new group of.
Yeah.
Cause it's gotta be somebody that's got a little experience.
somebody that knows something.
That's why I think maybe
So
even
it's-
your supervisor you stagger.
Yeah.
Right, exactly, that's what I thought too, but I thought, again, it's not my
Whoever the one
decision
with
to
the
make, so.
experience gets
So with
shared.
the motion, we can still go.
Right, you can, I just wanted you to know how I spelled it out and that
Because
information.
what I was reading was from ISAC. I
Yeah,
didn't-
and that's
wasn't
where I
reading-
got this
Okay.
from. Everything came in there and then I just filled in those representatives of the position
That's how I read it.
Right?
rather than the name.
I have the right one, right?
You do.
Okay. I don't think I do. All right, so. As the motion. We don't need to name anything out because it is already spelled solutions.
Yeah. So who moved?
I did.
Sorry about interrupting.
No, 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 that's good to
It's so
clarify.
much easier to do it right the first time.
Right, and then was there a second yet?
No,
Second,
right. So. Since I'm supposed to repeat it, your motion was just to approve the resolution as presented. Yes, correct. All right. So that is the motion. All right, it's a resolution, so I will call a vote. Kai?
Aye.
Dave?
aye.
Chair votes aye. Did talk to Kyle and he will signature also just for the record, so that has been approved.
I will stamp mine.
Fine. All righty, then, we are to the citizen input part of our agenda. We have Bonnie and B blocks on there. Any input from either of you?
B block, Peggy.
Oh. I always forget that.
That's number.
Yeah, I
Carrie, did you have
forget that.
anything else that you wanted to add in our citizen input part of our agenda?
Come down.
All righty. So with that, we could call for the adjournment of our meeting.
Move we adjourn?
Okay, for the discussion. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Chair votes aye. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, for attending and
Make it easy to talk about.